Hello everyone and welcome to the R6 ANZ community channel where we are going to be casting this Rainbow Six Siege Pro League closed qualifier for the ANZ region. I am Dev Marta and joining me is Elastic on the casting virtual desk.
Yeah, this is a nice virtual desk we got here. It's fresh in, made in China. It's excellent. I like it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can never underestimate stuff that's made in China often has really high quality, you know. Can't really have too much of a go at that. I mean, I'm hoping we're going to see some Ying and Legion play. I guess that's kind of China, right? Anyway, before we get to
I mean,
before I
just pretend.
All right, before I dig myself into any more of a hole, let's get into it. So this is the new format for the Pro League that we're going to be seeing today. I'm sure that most of you will have heard of it. We've got 5 rounds consecutively on one team playing attack, and then of course it switches over and that team then plays defense. And as a precursor to all that, we have the operator ban phase, which is what you were seeing right on the screen now. How this works is that the team who is, I believe, attacking first gets the second attack ban. So it would have been orange team who banned Hibana, blue team banning Glaz, and then blue team banning Echo, and then finishing it off we can see orange team who banned Pulse. Interesting picks for Border.
Yeah, this is all, the system's all very new to everyone here, so it's a bit of a learning curve for the teams, the casters, and the audience, of course. The operator bans, I want to talk about those for a bit, because both teams have played Border today. Both teams have won Border today. We saw TBD, just remembering the name of the team. They 6-0'd, sorry, the new format. See, tripping me up already. 6-0'd Obsidian earlier today, so they're pretty confident. We didn't get to see the Outlaws match, unfortunately, but we saw in the previous match against Obsidian, they did ban Glaz, so they obviously don't want to be playing against him on this map.
Yes, and on top of that, I actually know Outlaws to be quite a Glaz favoured team, so it's interesting to see that, you know, that was banned against them, so quite a good read. Echo being banned, that's a lot of plant denial gone. Actually, it was the previous dark-sided team who I saw play a lot of Echo, Warden and Wings, and Shade, I guess you could say, hailing from that background. Perhaps that would be something that they would have made use of. However, I don't think it's those players, and specifically from that team, who did make use of that. Nonetheless, though, Castle being brought out, they're actually going down into Ventilation and Workshop as Outlaws' first defense, trying to mix things up a little bit instead of going to the default of Armory Lockers and Archives.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting. Castle might catch them off guard a bit. There's quite often you'll see some Castle strats with us around the sort of hallways around the objective, can play in the bathroom a bit, and just sort of have a bit of rotation area around the objective, lets them be a bit more freer. Works sometimes, works doesn't. I guess we'll have to see. I think versing Team TBD here, it's going to be interesting because Outlaws, they have a bit more experience as a team than TBD. They'll hopefully have more strats than them, as TBD has been around for, 48 hours now?
Yes, exactly. It's not been very long. In fact, it was actually, I believe, Warden, who previously hailed from Darksided. He's been such an integral part of their team for so long. And obviously, you know, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but he was removed from the team. And I guess this is kind of a collection of players, as you can see, on the Team TBD who kind of lost their spots in the Pro League. They're all very talented players. Every one of these players has played in the Pro League previously, except for Crescent, who has a lot of experience on, you know, Challenger League team of Verdict. So these guys are all very experienced. Yeah, that's right. Well, Verdict earned their spot in the Pro League. They just never got to actually play it, which is, of course, why this is happening right here. The Verdict team did disband just before Pro League, and that's why we're having this qualifier right now.
That's exactly it. So Crescent, he's going to be looking to prove himself, make his debut, so in the future, teams will view him as a very solid player, because I know I've played with him, and he is quite a talented player. He just hasn't got as much of the limelight as these stars like Warden and Shade, as well as Kings, as the community will know them.
Oh, look, this hole's being made up from the ITA shotgun on Jackal. Oh, but Warden's going to get the brunt of that force. He usually uses his C4 to take him out through the floor. Good job from the, that's the mute player, playing inside of Customs. Now, he's lost his mirror wall facing into Passport, which is something that he was intending on using. Oh, mind you, that lion charge does make things a little bit difficult with the spectator cam, but that's one of the main holds components of this push, of this setup, of course. And now, additionally, we have this mirror here inside of facing into tellers, but yes.
Yeah, Wings is going to pick up that kill onto Dodger. It's going to be evened up right now. Vigil and Ash, they're both expendable characters taken out. Nothing too serious just yet. But with a minute to go, you really need to see some sort of push. And it looks like Kings is getting tagged up there. Through the floor, it looks like.
Yeah, I believe that was Bundy on the receiving end of that. So, of course, you can use vertical play to your benefit, but just as often it will also work to your detriment. Now, as we can see here, the mirror position facing into Tellers has been defaulted off, and Bundy, what a fantastic shot. He manages to find Shade. I thought that was going to be Shade's kill, but nonetheless, a refrag coming out very quickly by Wings. He's now taken up his position outside of Workshop, potentially planning on moving in. Only a 3 versus 3 situation as we head on to the very near end of this round.
Wings hasn't got any E1Ds left. He's in a very solid position right now to help his team, though. It's going to be up to Muesli and the remaining 2 defenders to hold this off. With 20 seconds, we need to see some sort of a plant come out. If Crescent can get into the objective of A, he might be able to plant where Wings is right now. He could get some solid cover, but right now he's struggling to get in, facing off against those players. Like Joker takes him out. That's going to be Diffuser down. Wings as well, pushing in. Finds one. He's going to be dancing, and he takes another one down. Is this going to be a win for TBD?
Oh no!
Just a second. No, Diffuser's down, and Mute is going to clutch it at the last second. What an amazing first round right there.
It went absolutely down to the wire. It was a 3 versus 3, and that turned into a 1 versus 1 as on the buzzer, Muesli managed to deny that plant. Unbelievable stuff. I'm really impressed. I thought that was a round in the bag for Outlaws when we got to the end there at 3 versus 3. Really was favoring the defenders, but then a fantastic job from the TBD players pushing in and clearing out that Workshop site, particularly the Legion player. I believe it was Joker managed to get taken down. He was in a very strong position, and as soon as he fell inside of the server area, I thought that was round over, but no, Muesli managing to deny the plants and winning off time. Fantastic end to that round for Team Outlaws.
Yeah, it was a really nice execute by TBD, but I think the reason they lost that is because Wings, he pushed in, he got a lot of kills and helped his team out there, but the plant went down and the Mute just made an excellent flank that no one was watching through that central hallway by the stairs that nobody was really ready for. And from that point on, he just was able to get in and shut that plant down that nobody really was expecting to happen, and that was the downfall of TBD there, but great start in that one.
Yeah, and I mean, it won't be long before we I guess see what the rest they've got to show. So as we can see, this 6th pick phase coming out once again. This is another feature of the new rule set that we have going for in the Pro League and obviously in these qualifiers as well. So basically how it works is that of course we get to see what operators both of the teams are picking, but it's typically not the opponent. They wouldn't see their opponent's operator picks, but now with this new update, it actually reveals after the initial operator select phase all of the operators picked by your opponent, and then you get to I guess make some adaptations, change your expectations of what you're going to be expecting. And then after that, this 6th pick comes out where you get to choose, what are you going to be mixing up so that your opponent doesn't quite know your entire operator lineup.
Yeah, both teams can choose one operator, and sometimes you could even hide an operator, purposely mispick someone to catch your opponents off guard, and then swap it to the operator you meant to pick the entire time. You never know, you've got to stay on your toes. Adaption is what this new meta is going to be all about.
Yeah, and of course, on top of that, what you can do as well is do the opposite almost. You bait the other team into being careful for something that you're not bringing. So you could say, pick a Twitch in your initial operator select on attack, and then the defenders are really cautious about those Twitch drones, taking out their mirrors, and then you get rid of the Twitch for a different operator, and they're wasting their time.
So it's the mind game aspect of Rainbow Six that I love. Just the endless ways to screw with your opponent, to sort of trick them, and they're always worrying, and then just the counterplay to that. It's what I love about this game.
Speaking about counterplay, it's Warden who's going to be pushing all the way into the server room, taking out that mirror window inside of the little box. And that's one of the key ways of defending an armory side push, completely eliminated so early in the round.
Well-known Ash charge right there. It's hard to keep that mirror up when the attackers want it gone and you don't have any downstairs roamers. I think roaming on border is something that you need if you want to be able to hold vertical control of the map, and it doesn't look like something that Outlaws are too worried about, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you can't really expect to keep that mirror. One
of the ways you can actually make use of you can make use of holes in the floor, as we can see Serum doing right now, in order to challenge those angles and people playing below, trying to counter your mirrors. But unfortunately, Outlaws didn't set up enough of these holes during the prep phase, and as such, they didn't really have that as an available avenue for them to utilize.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to show that right now. Looking at the clock though, we're seeing in just this round and the last one, it's still a 5v5 with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go, and last round ended up being very close towards the combination of it as well, so I'm wondering if there's a trend we're continuing to see. But Shade will find Serum, and it looks like they're going to start to push in just yet. There's a lot of opposition here, and this shield is really stopping him from swinging in and being a bit too aggressive here.
He's trying to find some angles. He knows that there's likely to be someone inside of that desk, but it's going to be Warden who's looking to make his entry. He's used the last of his stun grenades. He's going to be soft peeking this. This ACOG's going to make these angles a little bit more difficult to challenge in such close quarters. Is he going to manage to find the Legion? Joker's right on the other side of this. Warden can't quite finish it. He finally does. Legion Mine in his foot. He's just going to pull out that. That's going to give TBD the further numbers advantage, but not if Bundy has something to say about it.
Wondering if President's going to get this plant down anytime soon. I think he's in the objective, but he's been downed through the smoke right now. Shade's going to grab the diffuser. 18 seconds to go.
Ooh,
might need to pick up
what?
his friend. Right, Shade with the double kill. Peeks around the corner at the right time. It's all going to be up to Dodger on that Jaeger with 10 seconds. Are we going to see a last minute plant denial again? I'm not too sure. 8 seconds. He's all the way on the other side of the map. It doesn't seem likely right now.
And if there are 2 Claymores set here, no! Oh, he just dodges that Claymore by vaulting over the banister, but now they're completely prepared. They've got to expect where he's coming from. There's a line playing on the mirror inside of Fountains. That's Wings with the revolver. That LFP Magnum, fantastic work from him.
It's high noon right now.
It's high noon, and well, that's it for our Outlaws on that round. And yeah, I mean, great play from, I was about to say Darksided. It's funny seeing all of these players who used to be obvious on the Darksided. No, looking, showing up so far. Wings with 5 kills. Kings and Crescent yet to find one for their team, as same for Serum and Dodger, but it's not such a problem so far. As I mean, sometimes you can let 1 or 2 players do most of the heavy lifting in terms of fragging if you've got the other players who aren't fragging doing the majority of the drone work and the calling.
Exactly. Yeah, Wings picked up 3 of those kills in the first round there, and I think just another quick set of frags I liked was Shade's double kill. Peeks around the corner right at the exact right time. Got that double kill right there. That was lovely. That really helped his team a lot right there. Went down from a 4v3 to a 4v1.
As we see this reveal phase, both teams will be seeing all of the operators that are currently selected. Now they have 20 seconds to decide, do they want to change out any one of these operators for something else? Now what I'm seeing so far is that TBD seem to really favor this line. It's not something that I would say is particularly on meta at the moment, in contrast to what was happening during the most of the Operation Chimera / Season 7 Pro League season, when he was such a pivotal element of almost every attack. He was just in such a powerful position, and since his several nerfs, it's been his effectiveness has been questioned, but he's still being brought out here by Wings.
Yeah, and what we just saw Bundy do, place down one of those indestructible cameras from the front. This is something new to this season as well. These cameras, they can see through smoke, they can't move around and look around, but they are bulletproof from the front and are a very new, interesting addition to the game, obviously being the first gadget added in since, is it Claymores and Impact Grenades?
Yeah, I believe you're right. And I personally love having these bulletproof cameras. I had thought initially when the patch notes were released that, oh no, Muesli, you got it. Oh, Muesli. He knows he did wrong there.
It's alright.
It's alright. I mean, that shotgun spread's a little bit random, can't always blame yourself for that one.
Muesli's a breakfast man. It's late at night now. It's too late for him.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're watching from overseas, just at past 10 p.m. here in Melbourne and for the majority of the east coast of Australia, which of course is probably where the majority of these players do reside. Nonetheless, interesting team comp we've got here. I love seeing this Thatcher come out. In the previous matches I was watching that you were casting alongside Kaza Elastic, I didn't quite see very much of this Thatcher being brought out, and I think that he's such an essential operator in many forms. It's not like he does anything really unique that no other operator can do, but he does something so simple, so effectively.
His bag of tricks can be used in any situation. He's a very well-rounded operator, and I think it means you don't have to be as prepared for as much. Like if you're walking into a room, you don't have to worry about as many traps as you would otherwise. It's a bit safer.
And as we can see, these holes are actually being utilized above Warden. How did you find that shot? I was about to spectate Joker because I thought he was going to be one to find that kill, but not only does he goes down, but also Serum inside of the desk room being taken out by Wings, who was on this ventilation balcony as well. Wings might even be able to pop that mirror. That's one thing. If you don't reinforce that wall just here, you leave yourself so exposed to this angle should you be placing a mirror on this wall. So unfortunate for Outlaws that they've had such a significant hole placed in their defense so early.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword with that wall. If they're attacking the other bomb site, you need to reinforce it. But I mean, if you don't want it reinforced, it's really tricky. But it's not working out for them in this situation right now. I'm really impressed by all the frags Wings is getting, just helping his team out right now. 5v3, he's made it after getting that one. Oh, window. Yeah.
Dokkaebi Call's going to get down, and well, right after you compliment Wings, he is going to be taken down as well. It's Warden who's going to be rushing into the site following the Zephyr charges that have concussed the players on the inside. He's going to find his second kill for the round. That's Muesli gone down. There's still 2 defending players. Dodger is going to be one to find that kill. A great shot at the long range with the 416. 40 seconds on the clock. Kings is going to find Bundy, leaving it all up to Dodger, previously known as Caliber, in this 1 versus 3 situation.
He's trying to find the frags here. There's a long range for that holographic site with all those ACOGs on the attacker's side. It's going to be tricky for him. He's got to take these fights, make him 1v1. He's got to push up against 2 people looking in his direction right now. It's going to be tricky. I don't think he has much utility to help him. He finds Crescent though. It's a great start, and Shade and Crescent, and sorry, Kings, who's going to be backing him up as well. Now this is going to be a very tricky retake. He's starting to push up. Oh, but Shade will shut him down, and it's going to be another round for TBD. I'm not surprised that wasn't a successful retake, because that was a very hard situation to push against right there.
Very strong opening for Team TBD. You know, those 2 early picks really helped them out and put the opponents in a very, very vulnerable position on the defensive side. 1, they lost their mirror facing towards the armory wall. 2, they lost their mirror, the player herself, facing that armory wall, who was taken down by Wings playing on the ventilation balcony. And on top of that, I believe it was their smoke who they lost. Perhaps, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was their smoke player. No, it was Legion, right. Joker, who was playing on site, got taken out through the floor by Warden from below. And that only left them with 3 players left. And, well, as TBD pushed into the site, there wasn't all that much that they had going for them. As we can see now, as the first defense that Outlaws chose to take was Ventilation Room and Workshop, and they won that, and they went upstairs. They lost 2 rounds of Armory Locker's Archives, which now, having played 2 rounds since their last successful defense, it allows them to now go back to that locked bomb site, which is what they're going to be doing, playing Ventilation Room and Workshop here in round 4.
Well, a lot of new changes to the system that Pro League works off in the new update. Teams really have to make sure they are aware of what's happening, otherwise they can get caught off guard. Just like us casters. What's up, you know? And Bundy hopping back on that castle again. The last couple of rounds, we saw it did make a bit of an impact when they were trying to push in through tellers. They had to melee through one. It took them a while. They did succeed in winning that round by a fraction of a second. So maybe that castle did actually have a massive impact because of how close that round was.
Yes, but now, of course, on the attacking side, we do have Warden playing the Sledge, which is probably the most direct counter to those castle barricades. It's so easy to dispatch with that utility, without expending very much utility of your own. Of course, you just have to be within melee range. Once again, we're seeing the same setup from Outlaws, a mirror facing into tellers, protected by this castle barricade. Now, one thing I'd like to point out about this castle barricade. These windows right up here. These windows on the balcony outside, which are very easy to access. You have a perfect line of sight down onto that castle barricade. You've got an Ash Charge, a Zephyr, anything like that, even a grenade. You can take that out and then further, wreak havoc down on poor Bundy in that hallway. So I do like the idea behind this double mirror setup facing towards the east side. However, I think that it has some serious vulnerabilities, mainly stemming from the fact that it involves such a spread out defense.
Yeah, I think you're certainly right. I think the double mirror does sort of give it a bit of safety because you have to push up a bit to that doorway to be able to engage Bundy a bit. And I think it's the mute sitting back on that mirror in the customs inspection room. He can sort of give him a bit of cover while that's happening, so we'll see. But the mute jam is having a big effect on that drone right there. Maybe it's just the Discord screen chat. Might be a bit weird. But
that was on our end as well. So not only do we have the mute jammers, which are going to be disrupting these drones, but we also have a vigil player on the defender side. Muesli's going to get a reset inside of the custom side, but all this vertical play, it's really clever. Oh, Muesli last time managed to get a C4 kill, but no such luck. This time, Warden, who was playing on the upper side, he's brought this sledge for this specific region, And he's going to
Warden.
punish Muesli, get his revenge for that C4 kill, which he was taken down last time he attacked this side.
Lovely reactions onto that pulse right there. Sorry, onto the mute right there. Excellent shot. And this is just a lot of vertical destructibility that TBD have taken as opposed to their last couple attacks. They've made an adjustment here and I like it.
In fact, I'd say that probably this Sledge and Buck combination is very much off meta. Oh, but Dodge is going to dispatch quite easily with Kings playing on that Buck. That's a lot of that soft destruct taken off the board. Dodger playing on site as Vigil, not something we see a ton, but he's still confusing the enemies and, well, not giving them the opportunity to successfully drone him out regardless. But going back to that Buck and Sledge combination, it's something that it's not something we see so much these days. Operators like Buck and Sledge have become mostly out of favor in its stead. Most teams prefer to play operators with smoke grenades, operators like the Dokaibi, the Jackal perhaps, especially since the Jackal does have a secondary shotgun. But nonetheless,
Yeah,
I'd like to see it being brought out.
Shade picks up a kill onto Saram as well. Shade's one of those players that can find frag out of a lot of situations. And that's a very important talent. Speaking of wings as well, he's another one of those players. But that's a very important talent when your team's stalling out of it. It can give you a lot of renewed momentum. Now with a 4v2, it's going to be Bundy and Dodger sitting on side as Warden's starting to push in. As this attack is starting to close in, he's coming around the corner to him. As Wings will take down Bundy before he can walk into Warden's point of view. Dodger is going to be the last one left with 5 seconds. Crescent has to start getting this plant down. And there we go, the plant is down. It's going to be a magnificent retake. He takes down Shade. Is he going to find another? No, he will not just yet. But with the 3v1, he's going to have a lot of chances as the enemies looking out for him. And he's got 3 to find. Otherwise, nope. There we go. Wings takes him out for another one for Wings this round. And it is going to be yet another round for TBD. It's time for Outlaws to start winning some rounds, Dev.
Well, I guess you can always say with this 5 straight rounds of attack, 5 straight rounds of defense for the respective teams, that perhaps if this is an attacker-sided map, then Outlaws are at a disadvantage, and perhaps things will start to change up after we enter the second half. But honestly, I don't think this is necessarily a very attacker-sided map. I think that, judging by the results that I've seen personally, I think that it does seem TBD just seem to be the superior team overall. It's interesting because Outlaws are the much more experienced team in working together, not to diminish the fact that Warden, Wings, and Shade, I believe, have played on a team together before in that of Sonic Darksided. But I think what this is a real demonstration of, this map, is that a team who is made up completely, I guess you could say almost a pug team. I mean, this team, TBD, has been only around for 24 to 48 hours, and they're already beating Outlaws' former Pro League team, and team who was just relegated in essentially the top of the Challenger League. Comes down to just solo plays.
Yeah, Kaz and I were talking about this, and it's sort of they're all experienced players in this team. They're well known in the community. They've been around for a while. They're quite often in the higher ranks that people will know about. And when you're at that sort of level, you don't necessarily always need 100% set strats. You can sort of run off well-known higher level pocket strats that just sort of fall together by your team setting up, and that's what this team is presumably doing right now. They don't really need to communicate 100% what they're doing, but they all sort of know what the other ones are up to, and it works really well when you've got a set of players like these guys who are all essentially, I'm going to assume, over level 200. They've played the game for quite a while, and they know what they're doing. You
really tempt me to go and check their stats right now, but I'm not going to show that on screen. I'm not going to do that to them. I'm not going to turn this into a pissing contest, but yeah, I think it's a valid point. Most of these players on Outlaws aren't necessarily as experienced individually. They're not all former Pro League players. In fact, I don't believe a single one of them has played in a season of Pro... Actually, Serum played in the previous season of Pro League on Outlaws, but I don't believe any of these other ones, at least as core. Bundy, I believe, was a sub. Whereas in contrast, of course, 4 of the players on TBD have that Pro League experience. And ooh, I like this. So that's a mute jammer on the other side of this detention wall, and Warden's going to be forced to use a grenade to deny that. But this is a nice little creative use of that utility. So perfect example. Yes, these guys are all very not used to playing together, but all Shade has to do is say, all right, guys, I can't thermite this, it's muted. Warden will say, oh, I know how to get rid of that mute jammer. I've got, we don't have a Thatcher, but I have some alternative utility that can do the job. And it just shows
very little time, just because of how intelligent these players are, that they know their way around the game and how to do stuff like that. Is exactly what we're saying. So right now, Wings, he is going to get taken out early on. That is not someone you want gone. Kings will trade him back, taking out Joker himself though. Wings, he's been one of the ones finding a lot of frags for TBD, so he's not someone you want taken out early. But nonetheless, the rest of the team is quite capable.
Yes, I think all of these players are actually fraggers. Something I think most people would say. I mean, look at this. Like, Kings was known to be a fragger. Oh, Dodger through the floor. And that wasn't even like directly through the holes in the floor. That was actually through the floor. You got to be feeling rough if you're Kings right now. Nonetheless, we've got more of this vertical destruction prepared with Warden, and I mean we can demonstrate right now that Outlaws are proving that these vertical plays, it's a two-way street. We've had one player taken down on Outlaws by these vertical holes, which were made by the attackers, but the attackers have lost to themselves. And I think Warden, as you can see, he's getting a little bit nervous. He doesn't want to aggressively peek this so much because he knows that the defenders are prepared.
Yeah, I think you need, when you're playing vertically, you need some horizontal play as well from the rest of your team, and you need to be the one.
Oh no.
You need your horizontal players to sort of call out where they are and put pressure on them as soon as you're peeking them. Otherwise, they can divert their entire attention upstairs, and that's when you get picked off when you're peeking above. Shade, though, is going to take down Bunny, making it a 3v3 with 30 seconds. And another frag from Warden is going to take down Dodger. Present, he's got the diffuser, and they need to start making a push at some point because with 30 seconds, Serum will find Shade. This is getting even closer.
TBD have completely read this push and they've decided to just push downstairs. But it doesn't matter because Serum is there and Serum is going to stand his ground, taking down all three of the TBD players by playing with this red dot site in the back of the event. In the back of the workshop. I'm actually very surprised. Fantastic shots from Serum in order to get that. It was essentially a 1 versus 3 there. TBD managed to get 2 nice entry frags onto that basement, onto the vent site, and allowed Warden to push in past the main stairs and all the way into the servers itself. But you know what happened? Serum just said no.
He just said no, and that's exactly it. Another failure by TBD in that round as well, was their vertical play really wasn't on point. But something important is happening now because the teams are swapping sides, and we're going to see TBD hopping on the defense with Outlaws hopping on the attack. This is where it's going to change up because it's reasonably close right now. It's 3-2. So it's going to be interesting to see if one team's going to pull ahead now, because it's typically we've got more defense around wins so far. Is it going to go in favor of Outlaws right now? Not entirely sure. I think every round has been close, so it's not necessarily an attack or defense thing. It's more just a individual strats and how the round goes sort of thing.
We've had more attack wins so far because TBD are 1 round up and they were previously attacking. Now we've switched it so that TBD are defending.
That's what I meant.
All right. It's only by 1 round, so let's be honest. How much does that really make the difference?
Yeah. There's been a couple things where it hasn't really been round specific. We just have to wait and see at the moment. But something I want to talk about that we didn't talk about in the ban phase. In my match I was casting earlier with Kaza, we had so much use of Pulse by TBD that I am not surprised at all that it got banned out. I'm surprised that Outlaws new to ban it. I'm assuming it was their ban of an operator. But Warden and Shade were playing the Pulse, and they were absolutely tearing it apart. We saw so many C4s in one round. I remember 3 C4s through the floor thanks to Pulse's scanner helping his teammates. And it's such a great map for Pulse. I don't know how many times I need to say it. He's perfect for it. There's so much destructibility, but it's going to hurt TBD more because they're the team that uses Pulse a lot more.
Yeah, and of course that destructibility on the vertical side works both ways, as we saw. TBD seem to be a real fan of utilizing that, whether it's on their defense with those C4s or on their offense with that sledge buck combination they have been utilizing so much. And we don't have quite as much vertical play from Outlaws on their attack. However, Joker playing this Zephyr is going to allow him to not only use his concussion grenades as assistance to his entry, but also allow him to go below if he decides to and try and take out the mirrors. But, you know, helping that out as well is, of course, Serum with this Twitch drone. But, you know, I'm going to shut up for a second because Shade is doing a shade right here.
Shade's doing a shade. That's exactly it. He's hiding in the dark. He's the crow just waiting to murder the Viking Omen. And
This can I just point out, this is such a Shade thing to do. Like, if you've ever played against Shade, this is what he does. He finds the most obscure things you've ever heard of, and he just makes them work. Like, I've seen him get cheeky angles by standing on top of a table and shooting through walls by making this tiny hole. And no one peeks at the level where his head is because he's on the table, but he can see everyone's feet, and he just shoots them in the feet until they die. It's just such a Shade thing to do. playing.
It's the kind of thing that when you're playing, you're like, who does that? And you just get annoyed. But it's just a Shay thing to do, and Shay makes it work. Can't really complain considering the caliber of player he is right now. But we need to stop talking because we've got some attackers pushing onto the objective, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got the armory wall opened up, and well, let's actually have a look. I believe this mirror is still intact. No, sorry, the mirror was on the exterior wall, so there's no mirror inside of the desk. However, Warden does have some feet height holes that he's going to utilize to see anyone who tries to walk inside. No doubt he's going to get a nice crossfire on anyone who decides to enter. Shade, though, he's going to use that vertical play to find one with the C4. Warden gets completely flashed out. Joker is no doubt going to be entering. It's Muesli who's planting to begin with right now. Joker on the cover. This is looking to be a very successful round from Outlaws, as now they're in a 4 versus 2 bomb down.
Outlaws are playing it magnificently right now. They're covering each other super well as Joker picks up another, and Bundy is going to clean up Ward, and that was such a neat execution right there. I can't fault that at all. That was beautiful. They said that they were ready to plant. Flashes came out, cover was happening, and then bam, 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 everything was done, and the round was won. That was beautiful.
I do believe that one of the only frags that the defenders managed to find was Shade's C4 through the floor, which he had used, no doubt used the Valkyrie cameras in order to give him that intel, and of course allowing himself to remain undetected downstairs by hiding from that drone in the corner of the workshop really gave him an advantage there. Of course, having a pulse would have made it a little bit stronger, but nonetheless he managed to get that one C4 and live. Unfortunately for him, the rest of his team weren't really able to deny that plant for long enough. That mirror getting denied, not having a maestro or an echo in order to delay that plant, not having any real use of the gas babes from a smoke. Very unfortunate to see that there's just not being any real site denial, and so the execute from Outlaws was just too strong.
The one thing that could have denied it was Warden, but he got flashed. It was perfect timing, that flash grenade. As soon as Thermite was about to walk into his line of sight, flash grenade came out, and I mean, he couldn't really do much.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Well, that's yet another attack win. So we've seen now more attack wins than we have defense wins. In fact, I believe we've only had, is it one defense win? That was the very first round of downstairs defense from Outlaws. I think that may have been the only defense win which has, well, the only defense that's been successful so far. I wonder if we're going to see TBD try and change things up a little bit. Look, they're still doing this aggressive mirror on the exterior armory, but this time they have reinforced that wall inside of the desk itself. Interesting that you're going to be reinforcing that and not putting a mirror on it, and unless their plan is to bait out an armory side push and then place a second mirror down here as a late plan.
That'll be interesting. The issue with those mirrors over there is just the vertical play. Just you can take them out so easily from underneath, and they are going to dedicate them both over there, which is interesting. And right now, we haven't seen any sort of roam game from underneath or vertical roam happening from TBD.
Except for that Shade.
Shade does some Shade things. Yeah, we'll talk about Shade. He might be able to do something, but it's going to be a bit dodgy because having one person on a roam isn't the best.
Yeah, well, he managed to get a C4 through the floor, but he wasn't going for, kills or anything. We actually have Wings using holes in through the floor right now, trying to look and find anyone who enters in down here. But I'm just going to say right now, if I'm Outlaws and I look at Armory and I see that there are 2 mirrors on this side, I'm just going to go for an officer's push. Look, there's no mirrors over here. They haven't even reinforced the entire fountain. Get someone on this vents balcony. You can probably fairly comfortably thermite that wall right there. So, I mean, I hope that Outlaws have the awareness to try and go for that, but it's possible that they might not. Twitch drone, wow, Serum through the floor? That's insane.
What?
Through the floor, he managed to use the Twitch drone from below.
Oh my god. That's the kind of thing that Kings, he's not going to know what hit him, and Kings, he's just going to be crying to himself right now. Oh, Warden takes out Serum as payback for that Twitch shot right there. He's going to be happy with that one, but
oh no,
still stuck in that Twitch drone. Oh, Warden, another one onto Bundy. As they're not watching their flank, it's going to cost them dearly. The 3v5 coming out now.
Muesli's still... Oh no, Warden, you're getting a third one for himself. This should have been communicated to his team, but no, Muesli stuck in that vault animation. Not a very strong position. Doesn't manage to get a 4th. Jumping outside, what on earth are you doing, mate? Doesn't even matter. Dodger cleans him up, but in a 2 versus 4, there's not that much that Outlaws can do to salvage this round. However, Joker is going to start it off. 1 frag on the Shade, punishing that aggression.
That was ridiculous by Warden. I don't think he even expected that to work, and I mean, he got shut down. It would have been beautiful though if it did. Some tears would have come to my eye, but he got taken out. So now it's going to be a nice 3v2 here, and it's something that Outlaws could pull back. I've been impressed by them so far. It's certainly something they could do. They're both sitting out on that west balcony right now. Had to hop into security. Diffuser's in there, not guarded at all, but with 45 seconds, they have to figure out where their push is from, and I think their best bet right now is Officers, where that Legion is all by himself.
Can I point out, Wings at half wall, King's inside a desk, this window's still unbroken, so he's not going to be able to use that as a line of sight. No mirror in Fountain. Crescent the only one here, so going for an Officer's push, definitely the right choice at this stage.
If IQ has some nades, and we've got some lifelines from Joker, I'm not sure exactly.
Oh no!
Oh, Legion's pushing out as he pulls the... Oh, as the Legion mine actually gets the kill. That was unlucky timing for Joker right there. Dodger, he's on very low health as he's got that Legion mine stuck in him.
No.
Double Legion kill to finish the round. That's going to be Warden and Crescent picking up the duo ace right there. That's an interesting way to finish that one for Outlaws. I thought they might have had a chance there, but no.
And that's what happens with these, when you're really late on time, you don't manage to do the obvious counters that you have available to you. Of course, we had an IQ on Outlaws. It's a direct counter to Legion. Those traps may be invisible, but not to your electronic scanner. It wouldn't take very long to whip that out and pop down those Legion mines, but no, he was too preoccupied with the fact that he had to throw a grenade over to flush out that default position. It was a nice idea there, the IQ throwing the grenade over the archway while the Zephyr completely concussed anyone who was inside, but the problem was that the Zephyr was peeking with the concussion launcher out, and the Legion just decided to straight up peek them.
Yeah, Crescent made the right play right there. He read it well. Joker just wasn't expecting it, and I mean, that's what you need to expect, the unexpected in this meta right now. We're heading towards what might be an overtime point, though, because both teams, they're pretty neck and neck right now. I've been very impressed by Outlaws at the moment, honestly, because I expected TBD to clean it up very easily, because we saw TBD. They 6-0'd Obsidian in their first map, then it was 6-2 for the second map in their earlier game for the semi-finals. They've been on point right now today, and I didn't really think that Outlaws were the kind of team that could stand up to them that well.
I like to see all these guys marching upstairs at the start of their downstairs defense. There was 4 of them, I think, or maybe it was just 3 of them. Running upstairs in order to prepare their vertical hold, which they have prepared fairly default. Of course, you could say that TBD is a little bit of a pug team, which of course stands for pickup game. So a team that's prepared, that's just a collection of players rather than an established team that has strategies that have been developed over a long period of time. However, despite that, having this upstairs hold, pretty much no surprises. It's become so meta at this stage that you don't even need to be a set team in order to make use of it. Now, this aggressive mirror, once again, being used. Now, typically, the vertical play is the most direct counter to this mirror. However, when the sight is down directly beneath it, it's so difficult to actually utilize that vertical play, especially if we have, as you can see, just at half wall, Crescent's prepared holes through the floor he can use to push, to take down anyone who enters the site, or attempts to enter the site.
Yeah, Crescent's going to have a lot of different options on how he can play that position up there. And he'll definitely need those, because there's a lot of different ways the attackers can go about pushing, and he'll need to adapt to what he's doing based on those. It looks like, though, they might be going to try and flush him out from upstairs. The best way they could do that is probably take control of Officers and push in from there, because there's not going to be a lot of chance of them getting this wall open while he is sitting so aggressively on it.
Oh, the Ying could actually help with that quite a lot if they're prepared to use it for that purpose. A lot of the time, historically, people would only use Yings for their executes onto site, but when there's something that it's so important to take control of, such as this, I think it's important to use the Yings when you can. Now, Serum has droned out the Legion. They know there's no one directly behind the mirror. He's going to use his Ying charges. He sees the Legion cross, but Legion is going to see him directly through that mirror.
And just seeing him there is going to slow him down a bit. He's pushed in slightly. Thermite charge is going to go down. And they're just going to need to be a bit careful about how they do this, because if not, he can push in too aggressively and be caught off guard. But Crescent and Wings both sitting up there. They might want to think about an escape plan pretty quick, because they are getting pinched in. No, they're not getting pinched in. No one's in Officers right now. They could even just retreat to there, and we've got Warden coming up on the east stairs. They might be able to take one out from the attackers right here. Muesli pushing it up there as well.
All of the players have defaulted out of Armory. However, Warden is going for a flank from Officers. Kings managed to get 2 with the C4 at half wall. Absolutely insane. The mirror player doing a lot of work. Joker's going to be pushing in to find Warden, but no, Warden finds him first. Warden's looking for another one, but unfortunately, he un-ADS's just at the wrong time. Bundy cleans him up, turning this into a 2 versus 4. Still so much work to do for Outlaws. They're 1 round down, and if they can't salvage this, then they're going to be another very shortly.
Absolutely. I think this is a round that Outlaws, they need to win, because otherwise they're going to be on overtime. They're not going to be on overtime, they're going to be on match point. That's going to be tough to come back from. They need to start breaching into the site, getting a plant down with 30 seconds. It'll be good to pick up a frag or 2 as well. With Bundy, it looks like they're separating themselves right now. No, they're going to be sticking on the same hatch, just going for a drop. Muesli finds Crescent, it's a good start, but need to work together now. Kings, he's watching the drop as well.
Oh no. Managed to do some damage there to Bundy, trying to get some cheeky angles there, but I think Wings is the real one to worry about. Wings managed to get one directly beneath the hatch. Not where you'd expect the last Bandit player to be. Oh, so unfortunate for these 2 attackers, but no drones remaining is what's incredibly likely to happen there, because, I mean, the Thermite typically droning throughout the majority of early round for the entry fraggers, and it's probably likely that that was the same case for the Dockerbees. So, unfortunate that neither of them had the drones to utilize to gain information about where the players were near the end. Maybe also the Dokeby didn't have any of the phone calls left, which meant that you didn't have the audio cue as to where the players were, which meant they were essentially going in blind, and that allowed Wings to completely abuse that.
Absolutely, Wings. That's the kind of thing you can do in that last-minute situation where the attackers don't really have an idea of where the defenders are, so you can sit in positions like directly under the hatch that the attackers are just worrying about other positions. Like Kings was pressuring them, and that was probably their biggest concern. And then it was just easy for Wings to do what he did. Right now, though, we're on that match point we were talking about, and we need to see at least 2 rounds, 1 in a row from Outlaws right here. Otherwise, it's going to be map 1 taken out by TBD, which, I mean, this is the spot for Pro League. This is not something that Outlaws want to forfeit that easily. Are they going to be able to come back from this one?
I mean, it's still up in the air. This is, of course, TBD's map pick, so they do have that going for them. Outlaws, they chose Bank, so, I mean, if we get to... I mean, if TBD managed to take this map, then we still have a second one where Outlaws, in theory, just based off the map bans, should be more comfortable. Whether that pans out that way, we'll have to see. Now, we're going to be seeing how TBD defends the custom site. I don't think... You know, they've now had successful defenses of Armory and Vents, which mean that they're forced now onto the tertiary bomb site, something that's fairly new for the Pro League format. Previously, you just had to worry about your primary and secondary bomb site, but now with the new rules, you also, if you've won a primary and then a secondary in a row, then, well, you have to head to your tertiary bomb site. And I'd be interested to see how they hold it. Looks like CCTV is going to be a focus, at least a soft focus, of this hold. However, that hatch being reinforced is going to mean that even after TBD forfeit control, it's still going to be... It's not going to be the end of the world.
No, not just yet. Not until the Mayans predicted. But Bundy, he's on Dokeby. I've seen a bit of Dokeby. We saw Crescent was consistently running him on attack, and he was getting some nice frags and being a bit of a support player for his team. I'm not too against Dokeby being picked, but I think there's definitely situations where you need a bit more utility coming out. Serum is going to pick off Crescent.
Wow.
Dokeby player.
That's a really great entry for Serum. Not a lot of people often take this way from Armory, but it seems to be the most effective way to make it work. Joker also cutting off a rotation, taking down Shade. I believe that may have been at the East Stairs side, but it looks like after Muesli drones out CCTV, they're going to discover that it's completely clear.
Yeah, this is nice works at the start of the round from Outlaws. They're listening to me. My boys, they can pull this one back and get to that overtime, but right now they're going to start opening up above. I think this bomb site was definitely a risky pick for TBD, and it's showing off now that maybe they're not as confident on it as they thought.
Oh no.
Oh, we might be able to see one if he picks through the floor right here. It's directly underneath him. And,
Kings was looking
Wings.
for that frag. Oh, so unfortunate. He didn't manage to find it, but look at the patience that Wings has right now. He has to answer his phone. Mum's calling, but he's going to be delaying that as long as he can, hoping he can get a frag. Warden is now covering him. Bundy's droned both of them out. 5 versus 3. The attackers have so much going for them at this stage.
Oh, Warden didn't take down Bundy. the first pick off of Outlaws. Nice work to Warden to make it a tiny bit easier, but Warden will be taken down by Dodger, and Joker finds another. It's all going to be up to Wings, the original super sub for Darkside. Is going to be able to carry it out on this side? No, he won't, and it's going to be 5-4 right now. We need another round being won by Outlaws to make it into overtime.
Yeah, pretty
That's
close
scoreboard
now.
right there.
Yeah, double 11s for Warden and Wings. The two Ws leading the way in terms of the frags for their team. Dodger also managing to break 10 kills for Outlaws. Nothing too bad of the distribution so far. If anything, it's a little bit surprising to see Crescent only on the 2. He's got lots of assists
Maybe it's
though.
maybe it's something about having a W at the start of your name. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Should we rename Dodger to Lodger?
They both have 2 dots in their name as well, so maybe that's it.
I thought that
There's
was
lots of
just
things that could be.
I thought that was because they were both part of the team called .lft.
I don't know. That's a big team though.
It's a very large team.
Very large team. Yeah. So right now, I love what Joker's been doing on Zofia. He's been using the utility pretty well, aside from that time when Crescent peeked him while he was shooting it into the archive section. But aside from that, he's been getting some nice frags, and he's been pulling it off very well and sort of putting some confusion in the ranks of the defenders while they've been going for plans. I think it's been a good pick by him.
Yeah, and one of the few times that we've seen the 6th pick actually utilize is here in this round. It was going to be a Blackbeard, but no, we had instead Dodger switch onto the IQ. Very useful operator. They haven't really been making full use of it just yet. I mean, not only does she have frag grenades, which are very useful on border, especially since Team TBD have been running, Jaeger. But that electronic scanner also directly counters these invisible lesion mines, and also wherever that vigil is also going to be running around, because when he's jamming those drones, he's making himself a lighthouse beacon for anyone who's got the IQ scanner out.
Absolutely. It's a good counter to Warden, which is something you want. Because, as we were saying before, it's the W and the 2 dots. He's won off the 11 kills so far. Especially Shade. I mean, we were talking about just Shade things before. Shade, he hides in those weird corners with Valkyrie, so you want those cameras gone as well. That's what IQ is good for. But currently, I think it's a bit interesting that they're just taking...
Oh no, Warden! What a play by Joker. He must have heard him. He knew on the drone that, he's going to drone him out right now. He's going to see that he's been down. He's going to clean him up. Elvis Warden got taken down. Don't worry, that was a bit confusing with this.
They didn't need the IQ for that. I mean, they just had to shoot him through a wall. I'm guessing he must have heard some crawling or something, or there was a drone there. I don't know. But either way, that's going to be cameras hacked, and Shade's Valkyrie is going to turn in opposition of his team now, because attackers are going to have access to all those cameras and give them a lot more intel.
Bundy gets out his true hacker kit. He's going to be checking out to see what cameras we've got for us. So CCTV camera, officer's camera, and armory camera. No doubt that armory camera was intended to be used in order to get us a cheeky C4 like Shade did in the previous rounds. However, that's not going to be an option right now, as the defenders decided to sacrifice their own camera to prevent the attackers from knowing where they were.
Now it looks like Shade isn't doing anything too edgy right now. He's just sitting in the site like a good boy, and he is going to be watching over the officers. We were talking about how a mirror on that wall earlier. It is very good, because if late round attackers do decide to rotate over there, it gives you a lot of intel. And oh my god, Bundy, that would have been a disaster. But Muesli is going to get that thermite charge off. It's going to be opened.
Why are you playing half?
15 to go. Yeah, he just saw the head of him right there. If he can get this shot.
Oh, Wings!
Oh my god,
He
Bundy.
pops his head up, and Bundy says, "Good night, sweet prince."
What's that game at the fair? Whack-a-mole?
Whack-a-mole, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
Bit of a game of
exactly what that
whack-a-mole.
looks like. Crescent takes out Joker as well. Oh my god, it's great.
Oh no,
so right now,
he's got to answer
close
his
to finding
phone.
this. His phone's ringing as well.
However, he's lost his C4, and Muesli's having some trouble getting the plant down. A little bit of dysfunction there. Kings, he's going to try and deny the plant, but through the smoke, he doesn't know where he is. Crescent's going to be trying to do the same, but Dodger takes him down, and Kings. It's now all up to Shade, but Serum takes him down, pushing in from the rear. Fantastic work from Outlaws, managing to tie it up 5-5. We have overtime, ladies and gentlemen.
We've got overtime on the first map. Outlaws are killing it right now. I didn't think they'd stand up to make this much of a fight, but they absolutely are, and I'm loving it right now. This is an excellent match. Every round is so close.
Yes, and well, for the format in this new rule set, it's first to 6. However, if we get to this 5-5 overtime, it's still first to 6. There's no win by 2 or anything like that. There's no infinite overtime in these seasonal matches. Well, I guess this isn't really a seasonal match, but the overtime is just straight up first to 6. This is the match point. And, well, it's been randomized.
So it's one round to decide it all.
Exactly, and it's been randomized as to who's going on attack and on defense. That's how the game works. The game has flipped the coin. It's decided Outlaws are going to be on attack, which is exactly the same as we've been seeing for the previous 5 rounds. They seem to be doing fairly strong so far. Interesting that TBD have decided, all right, we've lost our customs defense. And then we just went back to Armory Lockers. We had won that before, but we just lost it, and it was fairly convincing. So now, heading to Vents defense. I don't know. I think this could go either way. At the moment, they won this previously, but Outlaws have just looked like they're stepping it up.
Yeah, right now, Outlaws, they started off a bit slow. They've been winning the majority of the rounds towards the end of this. I think they're really, they want this Pro League spot from Verdict, and I mean, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to hold anything back just yet. That's what we're seeing. A lot of the players, they're not. I don't think a lot of them have been in the Pro League before. We mentioned that.
You're talking about Outlaws?
Yeah, Outlaws.
Yeah. So the only player from Outlaws who has been in the Pro League before is Sirom, and he played for Outlaws last season in Season 7 of the ANZ Pro League, and his team, Team Equinox, that well then became known as Outlaws, they came last place, essentially. They didn't have a very strong performance. Mind you, they had a very difficult bracket. They had to face up against both Mindfreak, now known as Fnatic, and Taboo, who probably, in my eyes, both top 4 teams, probably top 1 and top 4 team at the time, and they didn't stand much of a chance, but nonetheless, he has that experience behind him, that experience of playing against these top teams. Now, as well, I mean, 4 players from TBD also have that experience as well. Warden and Wings playing for the second team, even at LAN, of Visonic Darkside, they managed to play at the APAC LAN. So these teams are no strangers. I mean, Kings, he went to the 6th Invitational to represent Mindfreak, where they beat Team Liquid. So these guys are no chumps.
Exactly. When does Mindfreak play? So, moving forward, Wings going to be upstairs. Wings is really, I think, he's shone a lot as a player. I think it's a bit of a surprise from everyone when Darksided didn't put him on as a core player after the Season 7 APAC LAN. But, I mean, they've Darksided are in charge of their own team. They're running it as they will, and right now I think Shay will pick up Joker. But the way I see it, I think he's going very well on this current team as well. It could definitely be a force to be reckoned with this season if they do make it through into the Pro League. Either of these teams will be, and I think the ANZ Pro League players need to be watching out in chat for this, because this is quite a close match so far, which is a bit surprising for me, honestly.
The Outlaws push seems to be mostly mounting from the Teller's side, potentially going to execute onto the workshop area. As you can see, they have opened up a hole in the reinforced wall. Muesli's looking to enter into the site, but the Legion Mine is going to reveal that. King's looking to find the shots. He's got a C4, but no! It's perfect timing for Muesli to take that peek. Now the smoke grenades are going to come out. The attack is looking fairly strong. A second C4 goes out, doesn't find anything. Cyril and Bundy each find a kill. Now it's up to Shade and Wings. Shade, he does finally find a kill, taking down Siron. That's the Twitch off the board. Wings tries to go for his flank, but Bundy punishes him with that Mark 14. Bundy, nope, there you go. That's the end of it. Shay's going to get taken down. Outlaws managing to close out this map.
Wow, Outlaws taking down Border, which was so dominantly won by TBD in their very first match today. That's a big surprise for me. I honestly thought that TBD was going to be the stronger team here. Obviously not. It was a very close match, and I think Outlaws definitely surprised me there. And I don't know, who did you think was going to take it out to start with?
It's really tough to know either way. I think that deep inside me, I thought that it was going to be TBD taking the win, just on the fact that they have the more experienced players on the roster. Now, I'm just going to do some clarifications onto whether I did have the correct settings. I did set them as per what the rulebook told me to. So maybe I set them incorrectly, but you know, these things are very difficult to get sometimes. I'll get confirmation from an ESL admin.
Yeah, it's a new season. It's a learning curve for everyone. But yeah. So I'm just gonna double check before I say something.
Hey, you know,
But
we'll figure it out. I think we might actually be able to set in match history nonetheless and get the teams to play it out. Anyway,
oh yeah.
so
many comfort updates in this as well. It's so much easier. So much easier for us casters. Thank you, Ubisoft. I appreciate you. You get a lot of lot of hate from the community, but thank you just from me.
yeah, we're going to do this. So we're going to keep playing. I've just got to make sure I enter in all the correct information as per the bans, etc.
Yeah. So Pro League has been delayed for a further week as well. This is public information. I'm not breaking anything right now. So that will be happening. We don't have an exact date yet, but it's not going to be happening this week. It's not starting on the 20th of June. Presumably delayed a further week, but we're gonna have to wait and see for that one, which is a big shame. But Ubisoft have to make sure that the competition is fair, and bugs such as the reload bug just don't make it enjoyable for anyone, I would say. But all that means is really we're probably going to have a couple of super weeks of Pro League gameplay, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's going to be all that the stress of competition bundled up into one little tight bundle of joy of like 4 days in a row, which is just going to make all the players stressed, and of course that makes a lot of fun for the viewers, which is the important thing. But anyway, the next map we've got coming up, presumably, well, actually, we're still on the same map, but the next map after this we're going to see is Consulate, and then if we make it to a third map, we're going to be going to Oregon. Oregon is a map that TBD played earlier in the day. Consulate, I don't believe, is... Oh wait, no, are we going? We're not going to Consulate after this. I lied.
Bank and then Oregon.
Bank, yeah, sorry. Consulate is the map that Outlaws played earlier today. So Bank and then Oregon are the maps after this. Nobody's played Bank as of yet, so that's going to be a fresh one. But honestly, nobody's banned Maestro yet, and we haven't seen him being run at all by either team.
No. What do you think about Maestro in regards to how he fits into these matches, particularly on border, I guess you could say? I mean, it's still possible that he could be brought out.
Well, from a personal point of view, Maestro is probably my favorite from the new operators. He's a lot more universal in that his evil eyes can be used in a lot of situations, whereas alibis, decoys, they're a lot harder to use effectively. But I think there's a lot of spots, especially outside, if you put some of the evil eyes that can catch people off guard, depending on the map. Though Bank is probably not one where you want to put them outside, but evil eyes can be super difficult for the round. Like if we're going to Bank next, I can think of a lot of spots, especially in open area, if you're attacking downstairs, that evil eyes could be super useful. That being said, teams can destroy them with explosives, so you have to be careful for that. There's a lot of interesting things that I think teams have to look at how you can use him on certain maps, because he's obviously a new operator, so people haven't 100% figured out the best way to use him, and if he is going to be that useful at all in Pro League. I think that we're going to see him being used on some maps, though, for sure, because his utility is quite strong. He's sort of an intel trap operator, is the way I like to think of him, personally. And at the moment, I think intel trap. We haven't Valkyrie. She's sort of intel trap. You can use C4. It's not that
I guess
great,
you could
though.
say
The trap
that
part.
Ella is almost intel trap, and same with Legion, because you get a lot of intel as to when their traps go off.
Absolutely, I think intel from an evil eye is a lot. What's the word? It's much better than intel from an Element going off, because you can see directly at what's happening and sort of annoy people. But it's a lot easier to sort of identify an evil eye than an Element, though. And honestly, I just need to wait and see, because I'm not entirely sure. I've only been playing the new operators the past 2 days since I've got internet back. But it's going to be super interesting to see how Pro League teams use it. And I'm waiting for the first couple days of Pro League play to see what teams do with him, especially some of the higher tier teams, to see if they incorporate him, as well as the EU and NA, as well as Brazilian LATAM Pro Leagues as well. That's going to be interesting, but just have to wait and see for that one, because I haven't spent too much time with him just yet. Hard to judge an operator when you haven't seen him in competitive play just yet. Alibi, we saw Warden run Alibi, speaking of the new operators, earlier today. I don't think it made that much of an impact. He got a kill with her, but it wasn't really because of her gadgets. It's very hit and miss, I think. It's a lot like... What's an operator I can compare Alibi to? I'm not entirely sure, but Alibi's gadget, it's a bit... The way I like to think of it is it's disruption, trap, and intel. Because intel, when people obviously mess up and get tricked by it, disruption catches the attackers off guard, and trap, because... I mean, it doesn't really trap you at all, but it's not something you want to be... Yeah, it's not really trap at all. I have no idea why I called it trap. But disruption and intel, which... You know, it's an interesting mix. We haven't really had one of those before. So that's going to be different. But I don't think she's going to be used as much as Maestro. Her gun, it's got a very high rate of fire, but ultimately it's, I mean, personal preference. Guns don't really matter so far. I'm not entirely sure. As I said, we have to wait and see for both the operators. There's definitely ways you can incorporate her, because disruption... When Vigil came out, Vigil, when he was first introduced, people were like, oh, this guy doesn't have a lot of utility. But then they realized that this disruption can have a massive impact on attackers. And so I think there's definitely going to be a use for Alibi. People just have to figure out what. At the moment, people don't really know what, because as I've said, she's just been introduced. But, yeah. With the Evil Eyes, though, you can definitely do some interesting things. I think that what's really strong about them is the infinite range of the Zappy device. I'm not sure what it's called. I can see a lot of use for that on maps, especially like Skyscraper. I'm not sure if Skyscraper is still in the competitive map pool, because it has been updated. I can actually just take a look, because I'm on the ESL website. But on maps like Skyscraper, if you just jump outside, and no, it's not on the competitive map pool, so it doesn't matter. But nevertheless, if you're in ranked, just jump outside, put a Evil Eye on the corner, and you can just use that to jump out and zap people when they're not looking. It's great intel.
Yep, and just like that, I think we're about to actually get this match. Just waiting for Outlaws to be prepared. So the essential issue I had here is that I set the match parameters incorrectly. I set it so that overtime was first to 1, essentially, instead of best of 3. So it should have been first to 7 overall instead of first to 6. My bad, but guess what? Glad this happened today instead of during Pro League, right?
Exactly. It's all good for it to happen now. I mean, I forgive you personally.
And
beg this from chat though.
So chat, please forgive. So what's going to happen is that I've had to set this. It's going to do auto bans, or at least it should. Yep. So I've had to preset the bans. Okay, this is a bit odd, but it should work. The only way that I can get this lobby to actually work is that it's going to, hopefully, I mean, I set it all correctly, but it's going to start this on 4 to 5, 4 for blue, 5 for orange, and you just +1 to each side. So it's actually 5, 6, and it's first to 7. But the results will be 1 behind for both teams. Assuming that it's actually saved all the changes that I made. If not, we'll have to rehost again, but we're going to play this round out nonetheless. So this is the same map bands that we've already seen: Hibana, Glaz, Echo, and Pulse.
We will see Pulse in 15 seconds, hopefully. But what's important is that we're getting back on a roll. And so, as we've said, you just have to +1 onto both scores, and we'll be right. Not sure. The graphics for this
I think there's been some kind of error with the match settings. I mean, you probably heard all the little clicks while Elastic was talking. I did go through and set it all up. So match settings didn't save.
No, that wasn't Morse code. It was Dev setting things up. He doesn't need help. Nobody call the police. We're all good. And so it looks like... So right now, what's happened is it's 1-up to Outlaws right now, and we're just going to have to assume that if Outlaws need to win 1 round, TBD need to win 2.
Need to win 2, yes, correctly.
Whichever happens first, the winner is going to move on and win a map.
Match point to Outlaws at the moment. My dearest apologies for the technical issues with the stream, but this is what happens. Right? You know, new settings. It happens, guys. And look, the fantastic thing is that Ubisoft have the tools available to us now to fix these kinds of issues. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a spud, and I must have messed it up somehow. It happens, guys. Even the best of us can be spuds sometimes.
Can't believe it. Never forgive you.
Defenders protect your bombs from being defused by
Here we go, though. It's going to be Outlaws deciding also to defend ventilation. This is overtime. They could have chosen anywhere to defend, and they decided to go for ventilation, which is the exact same decision that we had TBD make. It's interesting that these teams both favor defending ventilation.
Yeah, it's certainly different. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, and honestly, it's been defense rounds have been won more often than not on this side. We've seen they've been very close though. I can't take that out. It's very hit and miss. But right now, I don't think that upstairs is going to be as easy as well, because we've seen Outlaws. They have a very nice attack on upstairs as well. Well, it's not necessarily their attack either. It's just the defense by TBD, would you say?
Warden, how'd you get your drone there and it not get seen? That guy's a wizard. However he does it, I don't know. Looks like we're going to have the sledge being brought out. Something we saw quite a lot of from Warden earlier in this match. Of course, the first 5 rounds of this map, we had TBD on attack. And we saw a lot of Warden playing Sledge, also a little bit of Zafia. He's once again bringing out that Sledge. King's on the Ash. Now, this is bringing me back to the old MF days. Kings used to play a lot of Ash. In fact, a lot of Ash ACOG specifically. He was kind of renowned for always playing the ACOG, where the rest of the Mindfreak roster would often favor a reflex site. But wow, look at this very impressive use of time. Not even 50 seconds off the clock, and already that main mirror facing into Tellers has been disabled.
Yeah, Kings' shift W to walk ratio is very high right now, which is what you want on an Ash player. He's doing very well. He's opening up the floor as well. Minute in, and they already have top floor control. Excellent work from TBD. They're changing it up. They're making sure that in this round they need to win. They're not making any mistakes, and that's good. But they need to make this nice transition into downstairs, though. They've learnt that they can't just sit upstairs and open up the floor, because otherwise Outlaws will pick them off. So they need to make some sort of transition down. Otherwise, they're just going to start getting picked off, and time is going to continue to tick down.
And, well, looks like TBD starting now their final push looking into the site, and they have plenty of time to play with at the moment. They still have players in the hallway, as we can see Serum, who's playing behind this destroyed mirror. He has been completely droned out by Crescent on the other side of the castle barricade. He's going to starting to get shot. It's actually underneath the castle barricade. That's Shade trying to find this angle, forcing Serum onto about half HP. And yet, still no vertical play from above CCTV into customs, which is what we saw so successful earlier in this match.
They need Sledge to take out that castle barricade. Shade can't thermite it open. And Bundy's been downed as well. He's in a pretty safe spot to be revived, I believe, though. With 48 seconds, Muesli will find wings. It's a good start. Outlaws just need to find 4 more frags. And oh my god, Muesli turns around, takes Shade out, and Serum is going to find one as well. 2 more frags, and Outlaws are taking this map and moving forward. This has not gone well towards the later part of the round for TBD. They need to start pulling this back.
For the map, this is 2 versus 5. Kings and Crescent have to demonstrate that they've earned their spots on this very newly formed roster, and Outlaws just have to wait. 20 seconds to go. Kings has to find this first kill, but he doesn't even manage that. Dodger gets that one. Crescent trades back onto Bundy. It's now a 1 versus 4 scenario. He has to ace clutch to win the game, but Muesli cleans it up. That's a GG. Well played to both teams. Outlaws cleaning up this final round after a match point. It looked so good at the start for TBD. Took such early map control, but pushing into the side, it just wasn't enough.
That's a dang shame right there for TBD. It was a good start, nice and aggressive, but unfortunately for them, Outlaws. Muesli just picking up those 2 frags was amazing. And also, can we see the game, Dev?
Yeah, my bad. I just realized that. So my dearest apologies to everyone who was watching then, because you weren't watching then. But look, I was thinking of maybe starting a radio show, Elastic. Would you like to do some, I mean, come on, people listen to football on the radio. Surely people can listen to some Rainbow Six without watching it.
I'm with you. I reckon it's a great idea. We can even have chat there as well. Sorry guys. It's all right. We've got another map though, or possibly 2. And next map is going to be Bank, as we talked about before. This is different because Bank's a much more open map than Border, so we'll see who that favors. Yeah.
In my defense, guys, you saw how much I had to deal with all of the resetting the trying to put in match settings and change the rules and all that rubbish. But yeah, my bad on not clicking the transition button. I'm just gonna.
Basically, the summary though is what happened at the start of the round. I'll just give a sort of a verbal recount of it. Imagine me as like if you're a blind person, you've got someone telling you what's happened. That's you right now. So what's happened is basically TBD. They ran in the top. Kings shift W'd in. They took amazing, nice map control to start with, and then Muesli just turned around and killed a lot of people really quickly. And yeah, and then a lot of things. A lot of people died. It was a 1v5 for Crescent, and then from there they lost because Crescent died. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So you didn't even need to see the round.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. We've got more to show, so it's not like you missed the end of it. Anyway, we are going to go to a very quick break, but we'll be back shortly with the second map, making sure that we have all the correct match settings for you guys. Stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back. We are very, very close to actually getting this show back on the road. A couple things we've got to make sure we get right. For example, the map. Thank you very much to the players for reminding me to change the map. We are on bank.
We also
next up.
got to make sure we get the visuals right as well. Otherwise, we can just try and do a radio show as well. Just close your eyes, guys, and imagine the imagery we're presenting here. That's another option we could do, but no.
You know what, Elastic? Thank you very much for reminding me that I have to change the sides, change the graphics. So,
Anytime.
Yeah, can I just point out here that for this broadcast in particular, not only is this casted by us voluntarily, but I'm also having to do solo all of the production for this broadcast, running it off my own PC through OBS, and also having to do all of the observing as well. So typically, for a high-level production, you would have at least one dedicated observer who controls the in-game spectator camera, and then a dedicated production team to do all of the producing, and then casters can just worry about making sure they're getting the casting right. Unfortunately,
and all Dev has is just me making funny comments at him.
Look, hey, Elastic, you've been filling pretty well. Why don't you do a little bit longer while I do these graphics? The audience won't even know that it's just Phil.
I can throw some paint.ms graphics in there. Nobody will notice the difference.
So, next map is Bank. Now, what do you think about, these teams coming up on Bank? It's Outlaws map pick, and look, they won Border. Like, despite my expectation, they won Border. Are they going to win Bank as well?
I am going to go with, I don't know.
The team is that the team? Is that the team I don't know, or the?
Yeah, we're gonna have a drastic change here. The European team I don't know is gonna come in and just take out the entire tournament.
Strange things
honestly,
happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a completely different type of map. Border's such a close combat thing with lots of destructibility, whereas Bank, it's just a massive sprawling map with its destructions. It's not as proliferant. Profillant? No, what's the word? Proliferant?
Prolific?
Is that a word? Prolific.
I'm really not sure what you're going for, Elastic, but keep trying.
I don't know. Okay, so Bank destruction. It's just not as. I don't even know what I was going for. Yeah. Anyway, it's not as much as Border. I've been on this way too long. Let's move on. So it's going to be just a different play style from both teams. And I want to see some Maestro, Dev. That's what I was saying to Kaz earlier. Can we just get some, please?
Yeah, and look, Maestro is very, very strong on Bank. It's one of the... Maestro is very similar to Echo in my eyes in terms of him being so powerful at preventing those attacker executes and denying not all the plan, yes, but... not just the plant. Whereas Echo, his ability specifically prevents players from planting. Maestro, it's not a plant denial, but if someone's sitting there for 7 seconds trying to plant and you're zapping them with that zappy Maestro, they will die before they finish planting. If you start it when they start planting and you keep it going persistently, they will be injured by the time they finish planting.
It's like the Twitch drone of defense.
Yeah, it is. The little zappies. Anyone who wants to play a zappy operator, you've got one now for a defense as well as attack.
Hell yeah, Twitch mains rejoice. But, we don't even know if we're going to see it yet. I really would like to, though. I don't know if I've mentioned it 20 times yet, but it's something I'm keen to see because I've just been enjoying him a lot. And the LMG he's got, it's incredible. I'm not sure what the name of it is just yet because it hasn't been out for that long, but it's just insane. The rate of fire, recoil, and hip fire on it as well. Let's not even talk about hip fire. Oh, God.
Yeah, that LMG, like the way I see it, he's not only got one of the most beneficial defender utilities in his Maestro Evil Eyes, but he's also got one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, defender primary weapon as well. 81 bullets, that's just insane for such a high rate of fire weapon with low recoil and an ACOG to boot.
Absolutely. I don't think the ACOG is even necessary, though. First operator banned is Glaz. Glaz is a big one for Bank, so I think a lot of people would want him taken out.
Yeah, and well, it's once again TBD who is banning Glaz. So Outlaw, obviously TBD are an orange team this time, as you guys can see from your overlay, which we don't see from our perspective as the in-game observer. But yeah, Glaz being banned. Ooh, Lion being banned. Now that's a good one. So Wings has been playing so much Lion, not just in this map, but also in the maps you were casting earlier between TBD and Obsidian. Isn't that right, Elastic?
Absolutely, and Wings has been on him quite a bit. I think that ban might be targeted at him. It's also just targeted at Bank as a whole because it's a massive map and you want to crack down on those roamers, and that's exactly what Line is good for.
Speaking of cracking down on roamers, it looks like Outlaws themselves have their own method of cracking down on roamers, and that's by completely preventing one of the most effective roaming operators from being played at all in that vigil, which is going to make clearing top down much more effective. Now, Mirror also being banned, and we have an incredibly powerful site executor in Glaz being taken down, an incredibly versatile operator on attack, both in execute and roam clear, in Lion being banned, and a very powerful roamer on defense being banned, and a very powerful anchor on defense being banned. There are still plenty of anchors and roamers left in the pool of operators to be chosen, and bringing us out here in this first round. With TBD on the defense, we're going to be seeing Smoke and Echo being the two, and Maestro being the three primary anchors who are going to be denying that plant.
Absolutely. Oh my god, I just noticed Maestro. I mean, you just sent that, but I was sort of zoning out a bit. Maestro. I'm keen. I want to see where... Oh no, he's changing
Yeah.
it.
This was my theory. So right before the end of the... At the start of the operator phase, Shade had picked Valkyrie, and then I bet you last second they were like, no, change it to Maestro. That way they're going to think that you're playing Maestro and they're not going to be looking for Valk Camp. So really clever stuff here. Shades is a very notorious Valk player. Not, I wouldn't say by any stretch of the imagination, the most notorious in ANZ. Has probably got to go to Crude. But, I mean, or maybe even Amphley, who knows. Whichever way you want to crumble the cookie.
I wanted to sing Maestro. Can I leave, Dev?
You can't leave until the fat lady sings, alright? And I think Outlaws want that fat lady to start singing pretty soon with their one map advantage, but Crescent's already taken a few points of damage. I think that TBD have got something to say about this. Now, a team which we're banging on this once again. They're only, what, 24 hours old as a roster. 48. Look,
48.
realistically,
it's not
even 48. Like, trust me, it's not even 48 hours old. Anyway.
Yeah, they've been playing together for a lot less than 24 hours anyway. So, well, I mean, overall, throughout the entire game, I don't know. But what we're trying to point out is that they don't have as much experience as the Outlaws do as a team together, which is what's important in a team game, don't you think, Dev?
Absolutely. Well, this is. I think we could argue until the sun comes up about, what's better. A team right here, TBD, who have 5 incredibly experienced, strong fragging players who know what needs to be done and are prepared to do it, but don't have as much experience working together specifically, or Outlaws, a team of individuals who aren't quite as experienced, but they've had their
score says Outlaws.
Yeah, well, I guess you could argue that point, and well, I guess the evidence is backing you up as well.
So, right now we're going to have to see who favors Bank right now. At the moment, I think it's just much the same. Both teams jumping around, just figuring out what is what. Minute has passed, and I believe they have map control.
Yeah,
it looks pretty safe to say that.
They got map control. I will admit, like, it wasn't the fastest, it wasn't the slowest. It was alright. Like, they did, see, opening the hatches at 1 minute and 20 into the round, it could be a lot worse, but they could have probably shaved a few seconds or even, a dozen or so seconds off that if they had, instead of droning from top down, if they had pre-placed drones during the prep phase and counted how many players had rotated upstairs, because then at the start of the round, they could have called out, alright, everyone who has gone up has also gone down. So we know there are 0 players upstairs, we can just immediately enter. Unfortunately for them, they decided not to go that way, but look, let's not harp on too much about it, because they've cleared the map, and they have 1 minute for their execute.
Yeah, it's plenty of time regardless. I think we have to judge them from now. But looks like Thermite Charge has gone off. They're going to start pushing into the bomb site, getting that default plant down. Without much opposition, I'm assuming Shade is going to throw a C4 out at some point. Kings, he's got a keen eye on them with that pulse scanner. He got banned out last game, but he can do it for all the money he wants now. And I'm guessing a C4 is going to come out and try and deny that. They might be trying to bait it out right now. Muesli is going for that plant. Shade's holding the C4. Smoke coming out. It's going to fly,
nice.
and it is not going to take anyone down. But Kings, he is going to have one as well, and I'm presuming that's what's going to come out now. Here we go. No, the Echo drone.
And Shade actually was taken down as well from the red hatch, exposing himself to that angle. Now, of course, that's the second C4 missing. Wow, Outlaws have successfully baited out 2 C4s. However, the Echo Drone and the Gas Babes from Warden are still wreaking a lot of havoc, and Outlaws are running out of time. Warden's found himself one. The plan has to be denied by the shots from the players pushing up. Crescent managing to take one down as well, but the plant managed to get down with the attackers at numbers advantage. Joker's also going to find one, leaving it all up to Wings now in a 1 versus 3.
And he's far into the site right now. He's in a pinch between 3 players, and it's just going to be too hard for him. Wings will fall to Muesli, and that is going to be the first round for Outlaws, showing that right now they are enjoying this map. Very secure strategy right there. I like it.
And I'm a little bit surprised, actually. Despite wasting so much time, it was completely... Sorry about the graphical issues there. We got that fixed. Sorry. So despite the Outlaws wasting a lot of time, they managed to successfully dodge 2 C4s, which we intended to deny plant. That meant they had the numbers throughout the entire time. They managed to get a pick here and there, one through Red Hatch on the Shade. And by the end of it, after they finally got the plant down just on the buzzer, they had 3 versus 2. They forced the defenders in order to push themselves into very exposed positions just to deny that plant. And that meant that they had the numbers advantage when they finally did plant.
Yeah, still no Maestro. I'm disappointed in your Shade.
Oh, Kings, come on. Bring us a Maestro.
Oh, yeah, come on. Do it. No, okay. I need to stop judging them. They're Pro League players. I'm not. I really can't. But
Maestro and Echo as a combination are very, very strong on this side. In fact, if anything, I would be getting rid of the Valkyrie, which is what Shade teased he was going to do early on. You could get rid of the Legion even. I mean, what are they really using that Legion for anyway?
Yeah, I think Crescent's been jumping on Legion quite a bit. I'm not sure if it's a couple of picks or it's something he's doing for the team. Bit of intel, I think there's intel in every operator minus Smoke on this team, which isn't terrible.
Yeah.
That being said though, I don't think you need the intel that Crescent is bringing up.
And to be honest,
right now, what's an operator that you might substitute in?
Well, to be honest, you don't even need the intel that Kings is bringing. Like, yes, he's playing inside of inside of Gold Vault, looking in towards through the wall using his pulse scanner to see anyone who's in the plant spot. But that's not even allowing them to guarantee their connecting C4s. They already have Valkyrie and Echo, and if they traded out the Pulse for a Maestro, that would be yet another piece of intel gathering. It doesn't seem like that Pulse is actually necessary. And same story for this Legion. I would grab a Maestro over either of these. I would grab a Mute even over one of these as well.
Yeah, I think there's definitely pros and cons to each, but there's so many operators now that there's a lot of different things you can do. I can see a lot of, even an Ella right now could be a useful roamer. Lots of different things you can do, because right now it seems that the strategy from TBD is just to sit in sight and try and deny the plant when it comes. I think later on in their defense rounds, they could try and bring an Ella or start a roam game, and that could be something they're doing and try and catch them off guard after they lull them into a false sense of security the entire time by making them think they are just going to sit in sight. I'm not sure what the best strategy here is though.
In my eyes, roaming has actually gone drastically out of favor on Bank in the high-level teams. As of late, it's something that used to be very default. People would say, Bank is such a big map, which means it's hard to clear roamers, so let's all roam and win that way. But realistically, Bank only has a very few set rotation possibilities, unless if you open up a lot of hatches, and even then, so many long hallways that particularly feature windows or areas where you can shoot from outside mean that it's very easy for attackers to cut off rotations. And with operators like Lion, like Jackal, Dockerby, you can push out roamers, make them feel very uncomfortable very quickly, and force them to run directly into your sightlines, which means that this anchor-style play that we're seeing featured right here by TBD is something that I think is deserving in the fact that it's gone in such favor.
That being said though, we saw last round, they got picked apart as soon as the plant was happening. 2 C4s came out, none of it could deflect another plant. The Echo Drone slowed it down for a bit, but really at the end of the day, there wasn't much they could do once this happened, and it's happening again. Shade's going to throw a C4 out. It will, however, land this time. Muesli falls, and it's going to slow them down. 50 seconds to go. There's still plenty of time for the attackers though. It looks like that TBD are going to have to try and deny the plant again.
Oh,
Bundy's
no.
going for it now. Bundy. No, the Smoke Babe. He's going to force them out of it. This is nice work. They've made an adjustment, and their plant denial is working this time. This is good.
So Shade managing to... I like the fact that Shade actually waited quite a few seconds. Warden, what are you doing? What? He managed
He's
to
pushing
just...
up, he takes Bunny down.
No way.
And he's not going to get away with it though. Crescent will trade back Dodger though. And yeah, there we go. Crescent's pushed up on a roam game. This is a nice flank coming out. He's going to put pressure on the Habana in the closet. But he's not going to be too aggressive. He's peeking her. And now he just needs to sit back, waste time, because 15 seconds to go. And it literally is just a waiting game for TBD right now. Crescent though finds Joker. There we go. One of them left, and Surom is going to be left to face all four. TBD, and there we go. He is in a very tough pickle right now. He might find this kill, but it's not going to matter because, yep, there we go.
Completely abused by the Echo Drone to boots. It really started just with one plant denial from Shade, and the thing that really struck me about the way that Shade denied that plant is that as soon as Kings called, there's one in plant spot, Shade didn't go, alright, oh no, there's one in plant spot, I need to toss a C4 right now and make sure that that guy dies. It's a 7-second plant timer in this competitive settings. Shade knows that. He knows that if he's maybe account for the fact that King's call might be 1 second too late. It might take you 2 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds to actually throw that C4. You still have a buffer period of about 2 or 3 seconds when you have to throw that C4. Shade used that time, and what that did is every second that, I believe it was Muesli holding down that diffuser button, every second he was there holding that button down, he felt himself getting closer and closer to that sweet, sweet diffuser plant, which would have put his team in such an advantageous position. It meant he was so reluctant to get off it and try and bait that C4. And by Shade allowing Muesli to feel so confident, it meant that Shade was guaranteed that kill.
Yeah, it was a good adjustment by TBD right now, because obviously that's what I was worried about, that they wouldn't be able to get that denial out. They obviously did though, and that's the big difference that got made. It was just Bunny going for the plant, and those smoke babes really as well got nailed by, it was this, I want to say Warden on smoke, I'm not entirely sure. Probably going to get, okay, it was really good. Yeah. I risked it there, got the head off. Yeah, that was nailed by him, and really that's the second sort of denial that won them the round. Great adjustment.
Warden is a beast with the SMG-11. I've seen him time and time again. He shows up.
I think we can just leave it at Warden's a beast.
Yeah.
Real. He can chuck him on any offer, chuck him on Vigil, chuck him on Pulse, chuck him on Smoke. He'll flourish just the same.
We can see a top floor hold being taken. Of course, now, after that successful defense win from TBD, they're forced onto their secondary bomb site, which is, no surprise, Tellers and Archives, which they are going to be utilizing a castle to have a top floor hold. Wings is the one who's going to be playing that. You can see his 3 castle barricades are going to be protecting the CEO office and related areas, including rotations holes he's made into Janitor's Closet. However, he doesn't have very many reinforcers on this wall right here, which is where I would expect that the attackers would push.
Yeah, and they're going to be quite aggressive here, 30 seconds in, and they're spraying through walls. It's almost lucky that Wings didn't get taken out with a Bundy wallbang right there, because he is playing around there, and Bundy is just landing bullets through there. This is a nice aggressive start to a roam. Oh my god, there we go, Bundy takes him down. Nice aggressive start to the roam clear. Is he going to be able to get present as well? Not just yet, but he's very close to landing some bullets here. No, that's King, sorry.
Pretty good start for the roam clear. This Jackal also is going to be completely countering the defenders who are trying to rotate. Now that they have intel that Mute has gone down onto site, it's going to be fairly easy to just control this roam game. And the real threat from here on out is going to be anyone who goes for a late flank, which is fairly easy to cut off as long as you have someone dedicated to watching these flanks, such as what Joker's doing right now, or by having drones set up to counter that.
For sure. At the moment, there's a big advantage towards Outlaws, because you've got Kings tagged up as well, as we saw Bundy wallbanging earlier upstairs. There's a lot of tags coming out. The attackers are getting a lot of intel on the defenders, really putting a lot of pressure on them. Shade will take down Dodger though. And at the moment, oh, is this Legion mine going out? Something gets spotted. Ooh. Is that wall reinforced?
No, the walls aren't reinforced.
It's not.
However, this wall right next to in the admin office has been reinforced, which is interesting. And there's actually, I didn't notice this earlier, there's a rotation hole from the archives into the admin office, but now it's Joker who's pushing on through the hatch. He finds Shade. Is he about to get refragged though? Crescent's there. He takes a few shots but doesn't manage to land anything significant. Kings gets his own kill onto Muesli. That's the Thermite who's gone down now, turning into a 3 versus 3 with 40 seconds to go. The final push from the attackers seems to be coming through this lobby area.
Oh, there we go. Joker with the Claymore kill onto Warden, going for the flank a bit too careless. It's not going to help his team. Right now, some droning going to come out before the final push from Outlaws with 20 seconds to go. I think they might be able to do this, but both defenders have rotated to the bomb site. Drone will spot out Kings, and is he going to get pre-fired? Oh, he's going to find Joker.
He gets a second one!
Bundy as well, and the last one's coming around the corner. Kings won't get it, but Sarom is going to fall to Crescent, as that was a nice effort by Kings to help close out that round, and TBD for taking their first one right here. This is proving to be a competitive map as well.
And a great job there from Crescent to be in a position to get that refrag. Kings managed to get himself 2 frags to hold down that site, but it was the third one that was really the point where, I mean, it could have been a reverse clutch. If Suram had managed to not only get Kings but also gotten Crescent, that would have just been so bad. But Crescent, he got the intel from his teammates and he just pre-fired. A great job from him, especially when he gets down to those 2 versus 1, 1 versus 2 situations. 1 versus 1, even by the end of it, it gets really hairy, and you really have to make sure that you can close out those clutches and get those refrags. Wings, the proclaimed super sub, has yet to find a frag, unfortunately for him. Having a bit of a rough start in these 3 first rounds. And nonetheless,
because they banned Lion. He doesn't know what to do anymore.
Well, anyhow, he's been playing defense, so it's not like he's had a chance to play Lion yet anyway, last thing, but nonetheless, we've got open area now being picked out for TBD, as they have successfully won their basement defense and their Teller's Archives defense. Heading onto their tertiary bomb site, interesting that they chose to go for the open area and staff room instead of the CEO office, because I don't know, it's pretty split 50-50 as to who prefers what. They're both not really regarded as fantastic bomb sites, but you know, I personally like to see this bomb site being picked because it's probably the one we get to see the least, I would say.
Yeah, it's used to be as the second favorite bomb site, I believe. Well,
You reckon?
it really varies between teams. Yeah, I think it was sort of the second go-to. Upstairs CEO office was done by a couple of teams. I might be wrong. I've
definitely seen a couple teams playing CEO, but like this is maybe I feel like this is the bomb site which we've probably seen the least. I did say 50-50 split. I think I was being a little bit generous to open area in that one. But anyway, the thing that I find really significant about this particular setup that they've got right here is that Mirror has been banned. Mirror would be one of the most powerful operators on this site. You place a mirror usually where shade is, and you open up this wall that they've reinforced, and you have eyes all the way into this area, but they're having to play much more loose and have to make their own advantages. So Wings and Crescent playing here inside of the Archives area is really a good start for them.
I honestly don't think Mirror is that influential on this site. Honestly, I think it's down to a bit of Valkyrie camera intel and pulse intel, but it's sort of predictable where they're going to push, and the mirrors sort of really only help you when they drop into sight. And even then, I'm not convinced of their usefulness, but I'm not going to get stuck up on that. Joker doing much the same thing as this round, is sitting on the top of these square stairs. It's nice having someone watch your flank, because we saw Warden rotate up there and get killed by the Claymore last round. They have the same Claymore. I'm presuming he's going to watch out for it this time. Shade with a C4 and a Bundy though. Important player gone. Bundy has been fragging out tonight. Especially, you do not want those jackal tracks happening while you are sitting on site trying to...
Oh, Shade, what are you doing?
Oh god, it's just Shade things.
Oh, Shade!
You were saying he was getting on top of desks, now he's getting underneath desks. I just don't know.
This man, his foot is going to be visible. I can see a tiny corner of his foot visible from the hatch, but nonetheless, I wanted to point out the fact that his C4 would have opened up a lot of holes that potentially the attackers could use to shoot through. Joker's going to find 1 kill onto Wings, having a successful push here, but no, he's going to get instantly refragged by Crescent. I thought Joker had that kill in the bag, but no, it's Crescent who finds it, instantly refragged back again by Siron. It's 3 versus 3 now. Dodger, Muesli, and Sirom have 1 minute to execute their push, and it looks like they're going to be filing in through admin.
Yep, 3v3, not terrible odds, and a lot of health on the side of the attackers. No, on the side of the defenders, actually. But that being said, Pulse Kings, I'm thinking this is going to have a big impact because he's going to see where they're coming from
Ooh.
later into the round. Warden coming out of nowhere takes down Muesli. Now he's going to run around the map again. Kings, as there are less and less attackers, his pulse scanner is going to become even more vital because he can hold a large percentage of the team right now. Have they spotted that Shade? I seriously hope they have.
I think that they have, surely. I'm pretty sure that Sirom's drone would have seen it. Kings has got a really long angle here to try and utilize. Sirom only with the hollow sight's not going to be the best operator to contest that. They have a drone watching the rear, and that's going to make a perfect call, taking down Warden. Great job from Outlaws. That teamwork, that droning, that's got to be fantastic. 2 versus 2 now. Dodger knows exactly where Shade is. He's going to flash him down, but he sees him under the desk. A hipfire kill's going to get that. It's all up to Kings now. And Dodger falls down below. Diffuser can't get planted. Kings is going to clutch the round just on pure luck. So unfortunate for Dodger, not able to manage to plant that diffuser. I can't believe it resorted to that. That's... Oh, no.
I'm gonna present an argument here. That was 100% Shade. Shade was planning on Blackbeard jumping over that desk, taking him out and falling down that hatch. He's actually a true genius right there.
You want to give Shade the credit?
No, I think that might be a bit too much, but that was very unlucky by Blackbeard right there. That was ridiculous. Who would have saw that coming?
Oh, no, that's so unfortunate. I can't believe it. Outlaws had such a good 3v3 performance there. The drone calling out the flank from Warden. Cyril managed to dispatch with him. Pushing on into the side. Shade got taken down by Dodger, but then Dodger, you just had to fall down the goddamn hatch. Why did you do that to me? You were so close.
It would have evened it up to a 2v2 and been even more interesting. It's crazy. As soon as he started falling down the hatch, I could hear the frustration of Outlaws. I could feel it.
TBD managed to
so unlucky.
Steal around that they did not deserve. Just purely on the back of Dodger losing his feet and falling down that hatch. I don't think that these guys are going to get over that anytime soon, especially if this goes to map 3, which is entirely on the cards right now. With TBD in such a lead at the moment on the defensive side.
Right there. But they're going to have to move forward. It's 3 rounds away if TBD can take it into a victory for them, and that will push it to a 3rd map. But right now, Outlaws, I mean, they've still been a very strong team. They're 3-1 down right now, but it's been insanely close rounds. The scoreboard is it's accurate to a degree.
Yes, I mean, taking a look at the frag distribution as well, Joker seems to be leading the way for Outlaws. I wouldn't say particularly that I would mark out Joker as the player who typically sees the top of the scoreboard, but I mean, he's doing a pretty good job so far. And then on the TBD side, it's fairly even split. Wings still hasn't managed to find one for himself. I mean, to be fair, I think I said that last round when he was dead, and he hasn't really had a chance to change that since, but yeah, I'm sure we'll see some kind of performance from the super sub. He's no longer a sub, but you know, everyone loves that term.
The name sticks.
Yeah.
The name sticks, you know.
Everyone loves
he probably
it. Why not
hates
stick it?
You know?
I think he likes the term, actually. I think the only part he didn't like about the term was the sub part.
Just super.
Super, yeah, I think he'd be pretty happy with that.
Doesn't really stick, so we're just gonna probably stick with super sub. Anyway, so looking at what's happening right here, Outlaws have been quite good with their roam clears. They've been jumping into the building very quickly. You can already see Bundy on those middle stairs. The minute left, and a minute past, and they've already got map control. I like that about this team.
Yep. So, I mean, earlier on, I did say that I thought Outlaws were taking too long in their roam clear. Ironically, they actually won that round, but nonetheless, they have managed to bring up, made it more effective. They're now a little bit faster. This IQ pick, great job. They've realized that, you know, the Valkyrie cameras, the Echo drones, the Pulse scanner, and those Legion mines are all things that are vulnerable to that electronic scanner, and they're going to be making use of it. Hopefully, Dodger can manage to take out these 2 Echo drones in server before he gets spotted out. Is he? Oh, he managed to find that one. He's going to get the second one as well. Poor Wings right now is going to be feeling pretty hardly done by, as he has no more Echo drones. However, he does have this very nasty angle through the garage, which he can use to shoot into server. Oh, he actually managed to get one shot off through the smoke.
It's a very nice angle right there. And not a lot of teams push garage, so you can sit there very safely. And, it's going to be very tough for the attackers to try and get a plant down. They're going to have to run into the bomb site to avoid that right now.
Muesli, stop holding out the thermite charge, dude.
Oh yeah, you can't stand there. It's because there's so much. Just run in.
No, there's a little bit of
bomb and plant.
there's a little bit of a bug at the moment, which creates makes operators hold out pieces of utility that they're not actually using. So just ignore the thermite charge there. He's not actually holding down the Mouse 3. He's trying to plant the diffuser and he's just having a little bit of a struggle. As you can see, Serum and Dodge are trying to contest this angle that Wings has been playing, but Wings is going to be the one to find an injure onto Muesli.
20 seconds, 5v4. Dodger will find Shay, Kings will find Muesli, both with a grenade and with a C4, but time is seriously low. Serum is seriously low on health as well. That angle from Wings, no, you need to sit on that angle, Wings. It's completely blocking them off. Present will take down one. Warden takes another. Warden will fall the Dodger though.
Plant needs to happen.
Down. Bundy and Dodger need to get this plan off. It's starting to go down. Bundy finds one. It's a 1v1 as Kings. He's going to get it though. The 2 kills in the last 2 seconds is going to save his team, and they are going to go 4-1 right now. It looks like TBD. They're not happy with the first map. They are looking very strong on this second, and that was an excellent defense right there. Holding it out to the very last second. Got them that win right there.
And there's only been one attack win so far. Outlaws managed to get the first round of this entire map. It looked very close. I thought they were too short on time, but they managed to get that plant diffuser, and then in a post-plant situation they had a 3v2. Now they haven't managed to get themselves into that position since. They haven't managed to get the bomb down. It seems to be the problem that's prevailing, round after round. Even on that open area, ironically, it was the fact that they dropped the hatch and couldn't get the bomb down. And here it's the plant disruption that's coming out from TBD is still successfully denying Outlaws. Nonetheless, we're into the second half now. Things have been reset a little bit. We're having a switch of sides. TBD now have to show that they can attack the sites that they've been defending so successfully.
It's going to be interesting. Can we have a quick look at the scoreboard, please? Because I've noticed that Bundy is quite often getting a lot of the kills on... Never mind, I have just been making that up in my head.
Maybe he's just
Bundy's
getting
on 3
impact
kills.
frags, perhaps.
Yeah, the impact frags. Excellent term right there. Joker, 6 kills though. I've noticed that he's jumping on board with a lot of the frags as well.
Yep.
Never mind. I take that back about Bundy, but I have noticed that he's been getting some important ones. I've seen that.
What's this? A castle on basement? That's not something you see every day. It looks like we're going to have a hard server room hold going to get set up. Strange that these guys are changing their mind about who's reinforcing what. You'd expect that a team had been around there this long would be prepared for something like that. But I'm going to say this is on the back of Serum. He's a player who really favors those very strategic styles of play. And what is that? What are you doing?
A hole in the wall, I believe, though.
What? Why a hole and why in that wall? I don't understand this. No, okay, I understand it now. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. So 2 ADSs behind the server, and perhaps even Dodger might have a third on him. No, he's placed his last one somewhere else. But what this is a fantastic hard server hold setup. So hatch above, reinforced, denying that angle. Castle barricade on the server stairs, making it much more difficult for them to get through. 2 ADSs behind the server rack where Dodger is playing. Shade is going to be opening up the server hatch, but still, doesn't matter what they've got. Frag grenades, ying charges, those things are all going to get chewed up by the ADS. And, well, Dodger's in such a strong position down here, and on top of all that, if anyone decides to rush him behind the server, this long angle, which I was so confused about earlier, is going to actually allow his teammates in order to refrag him by any players who head on down there. First ADS is going to get wasted. That's 3 charges out. Dodger's just going to get out of there.
Never mind. Maybe they're just going to try and use that angle to limit the access to the back of the server now, limit the angles that the attackers can get. If they can hold on to it before the attackers grasp it and open it up for themselves, then maybe they'll gain the advantage. Not entirely sure, but
oh no,
we will see.
Bundy's
still there.
Bundy's been completely spotted out here. This is not a position where he wants to be in. As you can see, he's got that's Warden holding an angle of his exit through the main doorway by looking through the hatch, and he's about to be peeked by 2 players. He's got to be counting these castle hits. He's going to try and pre-fire around the corner, but Kings finds him. There were 3 players on the other end of that. If he could have taken any of them down, it would have been a victory, but no, Kings managed to take him down before any damage is dealt.
Just unlucky for Crescent right there. That could have been massive. I mean, so close, but Shade is going to thermite open this wall. and they're going to have control over server. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to deny a plant right here. They've got those 2 Echo drones. One is actually sitting in the A-bomb side. I take that back. That has to be their plan for this one. Smoke, he might be having an impact as well. We saw Warden throwing some smoke grenades out on the TBD defense. Is that what's happening here as well? But right now, TBD enter in such a strong position. I think that if they start to push onto site, it might be a victory for them in this round.
You've got 3 players above hatches. One of the only times I would ever say you'd have 3 players above hatches is if you're going to drop. Are we going to see one of these players drop? Maybe Warden with the Ying charges?
Having these players above the hatches right now is fine. They just need to cover. You don't need anyone in server. Maybe one person if you like. But
is he doing?
Shade's going to go for this plan.
He is.
Is he going to be going for a drop? This is definitely an option available to them. He's going for it. He's going to be going in trying to find these frags. Castle goes down. Sword finds one. He's going to go for another. Muesli, though, takes him down. And Wings finds Joker. Shade, is he getting that plant down? Not entirely sure. It's down. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and Plant has gone down, and now it's post-plant 4 versus 2. Dodger and Muesli have to try and do what they can. Muesli's managed to get himself a 2nd kill. He's doing all the heavy lifting in this round so far, but there are so many angles to contend with, and look at where the diffuser's been planted. It's on the desk. Shade manages to find Muesli, who was pushing up into server. It's now all up to Dodger. He finds 1. Only 2 more to find, but there's just not very much time, and Shade has such a pixel angle, and it's only 1 bullet that's needed to finish off Dodger in that situation. A successful attack. Look, what is this? Angle, Shade. What are you... Ugh, that's disgusting.
I believe the technical term is what a nerd. It was an excellent angle right there. But I just want to point out, Muesli is doing amazingly. I think I didn't really know of Muesli before this, but he is getting some very nice frags for his team. He doesn't need no Weepix.
I've definitely been spanked by him in ranked before, but I haven't. He's unfamiliar to me in the competitive scene. And yeah, well, that was a very good round for Muesli. I think that was 2 kills for him, and I'd say they were impact kills. Well, look, the first one was an impact kill. The second one was an attempted clutch, and that, you know, that doesn't really mean much if you don't actually win the clutch. Over that first one, I mean, killing Warden had done so much damage, and he could have done a lot more, but Warden did his job, clearing out the player who was in the red hallway. I liked the idea with that hold from Outlaws. You're using the castle barricades and the ADS devices, as well as that hole in the wall, to give them a little bit more flexibility around server and try and get that hard hold. But the problem for me was the fact that Dodger so early on defaulted out of there. He saw his ADSs were getting wasted and he said, all right, time for me to go. And that meant that Serum, I believe it was Serum, was the only player still there. It was actually Bundy on the Elysian. He was the only player who was still in that area, and it meant that there was no possibility for a refrag. And all of this hole that they had invested so much utility into just wasn't going to work out. So I think that it was a nice strategy. It wasn't played right.
Definitely some things that need to change the back, I agree with you. But Serum's going to be on this Legion. I think Bank is definitely a map where Legion is a lot better because of the massive amount of entry available to the attackers. It just gives you more options in terms of, more intel in terms of knowing where the attackers are coming from, which I definitely agree with. But talked a bit earlier in the map about how much the CEO site it's not used that much. It's favoured by some teams, and Outlaws might be one of these teams which I am interested in because I think this site is so underrated.
But see these 2 walls right here? Mirror wall. Mirror wall. Guess what's banned?
Wall.
Mirror. What are they gonna like? Those walls without a mirror, it's not the same. I mean, this is I think that this is a good hold when you have a mirror. When you don't have a mirror, I think it's fairly hopeless. I mean, you'll be lucky to, you know, make it very far in this hold, in my eyes. I'm not quite sure what we're seeing TBD preparing to do at this stage. We've got a heavy repel down on the southwest side of the map, perhaps looking to enter into the lobby. Lobby side pushes can work against this side, but as you can see, there's a large amount of reinforcers, and what the Joker has done is open up the holes above this reinforced wall, enabling C4s to be thrown over the top. The same has been done above this wall right here. Shade wants to go for it, but Muesli has to be ready with his C4. Or an impact grenade.
Yeah, that thermite charge is going down.
It's jams.
They're pushing him with a minute to go already. Yeah, those jammers are very lucky for the defenders. But looking a bit of confusion right now because they don't really have anything to take the mute jammers out. And that's what's making them struggle right here. They don't have any grenades to throw over the walls either, but those Havana pellets are going to go down on the castle barricade, and that's going to be the start of something for the attackers. They need to make sure they keep the progression going though, otherwise they're just going to be stuck with that doorway and nowhere else to enter through.
A drone now entering into the site is going to give the attackers all the information that they need in order to locate the players and isolate them and take them out. Warden now knows exactly where Dodger is, playing on the B bomb, and somehow managed to find that headshot. Bundy though gets one onto Wings as well, still not having a good game. Poor Wings on that Jackal, falling before being able to do any real damage. 56 seconds and an entry into the site has been made by, I was about to say VSDS, by Team TBD.
As soon as those Candelas come out from Warden, he might be able to do something with it. King's not able to kill that castle off the mute off just yet. Shabe will find Bundy though. Right now, just still need some progression onto the site from TBD at the moment because it's 30 seconds. I can't see much happening. This flank from Muesli could be amazing right here. He's coming up and around.
Oh no!
He's been spotted out though. And if he can sit here though, he can provide entry. Oh my god, Warden runs in, nice Joker. He's going into the site. He's going to find another as well. This might be what they're looking for. As Kings, there we go. That is going to be map number 2 for TBD. This is going to a third map, ladies and gentlemen. This series is not over yet.
Wow, that was fantastic. I'm in awe. That was a really good play. The question I have right now is, why did Outlaws bring us to bank? They're just not very good at it. No offense to them, but it's clearly not their strong point. And I mean, unfortunately for them, they go down without much of a fight, to be completely honest. I mean, that's a 6-1 you're talking about right there.
But we do have a third map, which is Oregon. What do you think about that? It's a map that TBD played earlier on today.
Yeah, we've seen TBD play on it earlier today, and I think it's probably one of the most frequently played maps in the pool overall. And I personally finally like seeing Oregon again because it's a map which got really stale. People called it Boregan for a time, but now with map bans, banning Mirror and bringing in the Echo Maestro meta, I think Oregon finally with a fresh face. It's really lovely to see.
Absolutely, that's it. Now for this last map, it's going to be an interesting one, and I'm definitely going to be watching from home. But I actually have to head off because I'm not at home right now. I had to move my computer back to my mum's house to go and cast video games, so I need to go home right now. Anyway, thanks for casting, Dev, with me. It's been lovely, and thanks audience. But this has been me, so I will catch you later.
Yeah, massive thanks Elastic for casting earlier with Kazza as well, and then continuing to cast with me.
Stay classy, San Diego. See ya.
And now you're just left with me, guys, and I'm going to see if we've got any buddy friendos who would be keen to cast with me, but we'll have to see how that happens. I'm also going to have to do a coin flip to check the starting sides, but I'm going to give you a little bit of music because, look, you really just don't want to hear my voice rambling about random stuff for the next 2 or 3 minutes. But don't go anywhere because we'll be back very shortly for the final map, Oregon, of Outlaws versus Team TBD for the final spot in the ANZ Pro League. Don't go anywhere, guys. G'day guys and welcome back. I am your caster for tonight, Dev Martyr, and I am casting this final match of the ANZ Pro League closed qualifier. And we are right at the end of it right now. It's getting very late. In fact, my co-caster Elastic had to head off, unfortunately, so I'm going to be rocking this one solo. Thank you very much to everyone who has tuned in so far. And I hope that I can keep up the energy as much as I can for this next map. Now, the final map we're going to be playing today is going to be Oregon. And so we're going to get right on into it. So for a quick recap, if you're only just joining us, this here is the closed qualifier, which has been brought out impromptu due to something a little bit complicated that happened with Team Verdict, who were relegated into the Pro League from the Challenger League. But basically they disbanded, and so now we need another team to be placed into the Pro League. So closed qualifier, a few teams were selected and invited to this qualifier, including these two teams that we have right here on the board, TBD and Outlaws. TBD being the team who was formed in the last 48 hours, featuring a lot of prominent players in the community. Warden, formerly of VSonic Darksided, Wings, formerly of VSonic Darksided, Shady Days, aka Shade, formerly of Zero Gaming, who then played for a short while with Darksided in the lead up to this Pro League. Crescent, who previously played for Team Verdict, as you can see from his tags, and Kings, who has been floating around a little bit since leaving the Fnatic roster. He went to SYF for a little while, but didn't quite find his home anywhere. Nonetheless, he has settled here on TBD, or at least he has for the last 48 hours. What the future holds, well, we'll just have to see. And of course, Outlaws being on the other side of the table, these guys are they're a little bit more experienced. Look, Outlaws played in the previous season of the Pro League. They, under the name Team Equinox for the majority of it, they didn't have a very strong performance, and they actually were relegated into the Challenger League by Team Verdict. However, they have reformed, and their roster is looking quite strong. Previous map results we had on Border to start with, I believe it was 7-6 in favor of Outlaws, so very, very close. And then TBD took Bank, which was Outlaws map pick, to 6-1, which was very convincing and very surprising as well. Nonetheless, as we get here into Oregon, you can see the pick ban phase has commenced and actually finished. So here on Oregon, Glaz and Hibana being the attacker bans, Vigil and Mirror being the defender bans. No real surprises here in my eyes. Yes, you might say, wow, no Hibana, what are we going to do? No Mirror, what are we going to do? It's like playing Season 1 all over again. Well, teams have been very much adapting to playing without Mirror in particular. On this map, Oregon, Mirror completely changed the way that people played basement, and it made it very favorable to the defenders. In contrast, Glaz made it very favorable to the attackers. With both of those banned, teams have to play very differently. Outlaws are going to be taking us to the basement first up, and no Maestro has been played. Now, I'm going to say Maestro for the majority of this cast. However, I have been informed by my girlfriend who speaks Italian that Maestro is the most accurate pronunciation. Anyhow, that Echo is going to be the main source of plant denial that Outlaws have available to them. However, what they're also going to be doing is having a strong presence inside of the meeting hall, as we can see right here. Dodger, formerly known as Caliber, he hasn't been in the scene for a while, but he used to play on the old Surge roster and was a very strong, well-known player in the community for quite some time. Outlaws have actually got a very spread out hold, you can see here. Reinforcers trailing all the way upstairs into dorms, all the way into kids' dorms. Wow, so this hatch being popped is going to allow anyone who plays in here a rotation down into the kitchen. However, there are a lot of ways to cut off that rotation, but with that castle barricade, it's protecting them a little bit. And then, of course, what I'm expecting is what I like to call an onion peel. Roamers like to play upstairs to start with. They make their way gradually back to the meeting hall, where they finally will return to sites. And it's going to start with how the attackers decide to go for this push. Wings playing his beloved Lion once again, heading upstairs into dorms. He's going to be cutting off this rotate so early on. Warden also has droned out the kids' dorms area. They know that there's at least one player inside of Generator. That's Muesli. I'm not sure if they're completely aware that Dodger is also inside of the kids' dorms. They do now, as they can hear his firearm going off. Kings tried to open holes beneath, but it's Wings who finds the first frag. Serum refrags, though, taking down Shade. That's the thermite going down. Now let's have a look. Is the hatch popped? No, hatch not popped. This is going to be a very difficult push for the attackers with no hard breach available to them. And still so much work to do. Wing's going to be pushing onto site. He knows that they need to find these frags very shortly. Serum, though, has made his way back to site. But what are you doing, Warden? Warden all the way in sight. On the reload, gets pushed by Serum, managing to refrag his teammate. But Warden, with that uncooked grenade he threw just before he dies, managed to get a kill from the grave onto Dodger, turning this into an even 3-on-3. Health advantage in favor of the attackers. As I mentioned before, no thermite means that this is going to be a very difficult push down the main stairs, unless if they choose to go for a rear push. Either way, it's not ideal. Kings at the moment looking to try and push down the rear stairs. It's entirely possible he could go for this. Still 4 smoke grenades, 2 on the Dokaibi and 2 on that Jackal, plus I believe no more EE1Ds from Wings. All of them have been used on the roam clear. And, well, it's 2 logic bombs still, which are going to assist with the final execute. Perhaps the Inox could be useful as well. King's opening the hatch. He didn't intend to drop, but he does anyway. He manages to get a kill with the ITA shotgun onto Bundy. He's got to pull out this Legion Mine sometime. Wings dropping as well. Finds one, but he gets immediately refragged by Joker. Crescent pushes into side, but Joker gets himself a second one. It's a 1 versus 1. 25 seconds on the clock. It's up to Kings to do what he can to reclaim that diffuser or find this kill. The kill is looking like the most possible route of getting this round win so far. Joker hiding inside the body. He's trying to push potentially, but that one armor makes a lot of noise. It doesn't even matter. He pushes up and takes down Kings with the bearing 9. A 1 versus 1. That's telling me that this is going to be a fantastic game to watch. What happened in that round overall is that, well, Outlaws had a very spread out defense that included a roam which invested utility all the way up into dorms, whether it was kids' dorms, even into the armory area, and it started off looking pretty good. The initial entry frags from the attackers were immediately refragged. By the end of that roam clear, the roamers had all managed to get back to site and were looking very comfortable, but then out of nowhere, Warden jumps straight into site from, I believe it might have been even an accidental drop down the hatch. Inside of meeting, he pushes into sight, managed to get one injure, following that up with an uncooked nade. He gets taken down, but overall, Warden managed to even it up into a 3 versus 3. You know, things happen from there on, and, well, at 1 versus 1, you can't really say much about a 1 versus 1. It goes either way, and this time, it went to Joker. 6th pick phase coming out. As that was a defender win, we are going to be forced to see an alternate objective. Basement now locked for a further 2 rounds for Outlaws. New settings mean that objective rotation parameter is at 2. What that means is once you win a defense of a specific site, you are locked out of that defense for a further 2 rounds, as opposed to the previous 1 round that it was in the old Pro League settings. And that means that, well, should Outlaws win their defense up inside of the kids' dorms, which they will be defending right now, then they're going to be forced onto either the tower or the kitchen defense sites, which are seeing a lot more play now with this introduced rule set. Joker, this time bringing the Supernova, is going to be helping with a lot of the key rotations that can be made. Making himself a rotation into kids. I like this. So this wall right next to Joker, which has been reinforced, what that does is allow someone to play in this spot right where that drawing of some stick figures are. It allows you to play inside of that spot without getting shot from this window, because otherwise there is a nice angle where you can kill anyone from there, where it would be an otherwise safe spot. Nonetheless, getting into this, Wings on the Thatcher is going to be getting himself very early up onto the master bedroom balcony, where he's going to be shooting open lines of sight in the generator to master bedroom closet. It's a wall that's typically reinforced, but Outlaws have demonstrated that they enjoy using a lot of their reinforcers off of objective. And, well, Serum, while in the middle of me saying this, he's on the roam and he managed to take down Shade. Once again, the Thermite, the first to fall. This is really not looking great. The only thing I have to say for Shade as a saving grace is the fact that that wall we were talking about just earlier inside of the master bedroom and generator, it's unreinforced, which means the Thermite is not essential for opening that up. It could be opened up with a Zephyr charge or perhaps a shotgun blast. Oh no! Wings has just realized that there's a Muesli here, but Muesli managed to get a kill nonetheless. He's just taken down 2 of the players. He might even get himself a 3rd one. Serum gets his 2nd for the round, leaving it all up to Kings. 1 versus 5. Muesli has been very lit up. 1 shot should finish him off. And no, 2 bullets in the leg do get the injure, secures the kill, but leaning the wrong way allows Dodger to push in and find Kings. A very dominant round for the defenders. That's 2 in a row as well. Might I add that I did a coin flip before this round to decide which of the teams would get to choose who started on defense and who started on attack. Outlaws won that coin flip and they decided to choose defense first. That tells me that they're very comfortable on their defenses and they're expecting that this is going to be a defender-sided map. It's seeming to be proven correctly so far. 2 rounds to the defense, a successful defense of Laundry, and now a successful defense of Dorms. We're seeing our first Maestro come out here for kitchen and dining hall defense, unless if they decide to switch off it. I don't think that they will. In fact, I think I know exactly where they're going to put one of these Maestro devices, and it's going to be specifically to counter that Thermite. Kings picked Fuse. Now, that's not something you see every day. Now, they do have the opportunity to 6th pick it, and it looks like they are going to do that. Unfortunately, I love to see a little bit of operator variety. He's going to go for the Jackal, you know, whatever. We also saw Mute come out instead of, I believe it was a Pulse for Bundy. No, Kings is actually going to make a last-minute switch to Lion. Interesting. I would have thought that the Jackal's shotgun and smoke grenades would be useful. However, plenty of smoke grenades in the hands of the Dokaibi, and you don't really need the shotgun, let's be honest. If they really wanted vertical breach capability, they could bring some breaching charges on the Ying, perhaps the Thatcher, but no. Dodger is going to be placing this Maestro charge, Maestro Evil Eye device inside of the small tower. And now what this is going to allow is the default push for the site typically would be you take control of tower, you open up this wall right here with a Thermite charge, and you plant right near where that hole has just been made. And that's exactly why these holes are made, so that you have lines of sight to kill anyone who tries to plant there. It's a great spot to plant because you have a crossfire from this doorway right here, which you can sit safely outside. However, that Maestro device in this corner is going to mean that anyone who places a Thermite charge here has to be very wary, because of course it only takes 1 zap, ideally, from that Maestro device in order to disable that Thermite charge. And well, Thermite charges are very difficult to come by. Sometimes they see it and they hear it. The Thatcher is going to disable that Maestro device, which means Dodger's not going to be able to do the job that he needs to, and that Maestro device is not going to do very much at all. Lion charge is going to go off, preventing any of the Outlaws players from moving too much. And well, in 45 seconds, I'd like to say that TBD have got a very good start for themselves. They're also now pushing up towards trying to get rid of potentially this castle barricade to let them look through the hallway. Muesli is going to find one onto Wings. Wings really not having a good game at the moment. Yet to find... Oh, no, he's got 2 frags. So he didn't have a good one on Bank, but, you know, things are yet to... Well, yet to see what exactly is going to pan out so far. It's looking to be a decent push so far from the side of TBD. Pushing in through showers is another way to get yourself a crossfire, but as you can see, this wall that Kings is very wary about is going to be very difficult for him to counter. Serum, though, gets 2 kills. How did he do that? Warden's going to get 1 as well. I wasn't even spectating that, but Serum taking down both the Dokaibi and the Thermite of Shade is going to severely reduce the attacker's chances of winning this round specifically. Oh, Warden managed to just see a pixel of Bundy hiding behind the deployable shield. That's the Mute, who's been taken down now. 3 swift shots onto the arm. We're going to let this high damage LMG, it used to be a very low damage LMG, but now it's been buffed. It's quite a high damage LMG to take down that operator. 2 versus 3. This is still a salvageable round for Kings and Warden. However, they're going to have to reassess everything that they've done so far. The fact that they spent so little time wasted in their initial push means that they do have time to play with here. 45 seconds should be enough to make this happen, and they're pushing right up together to refrag. You can hear the crouch walk happening very, very slowly. However, there's still one player at the top of these stairs, Joker here. He's in a position to deal some serious damage, but he's not aware that the attackers are going to be pushing in. In fact, they want to push into the bathroom. This could completely take them by storm, but Muesli is aware of it. He's used his gas grenades. He's completely gassing off every avenue of entry for the attackers, and Joker on the flank. He's doing some more. Dodger as well is calling out the exact position of Warden, the last player. Warden has to plant, but he's about to plant right next to a player. Can he do? He does get the injure. He's going to now try and plant. It's a 1 versus 1. Joker has to deny this plant to push in. Can he do it? He does. Warden on that 7-second plant timer. He can't do what needs to be done in order to clutch that rounds. A very admirable attempt at salvaging the round for, I believe it was Kings and Warden, but by the end of it, Outlaws managed to grip onto a 3rd defense in a row. This makes me wonder, is this because Outlaws are just so good on Oregon, or is it because this is just very much a defense-sided map in this state with these operator bans? Now we're heading down into Laundry and Supply Room. Last time this went down to a 1v1. Is it going to be the same story? In fact, Laundry Supply Room was a 1v1. That last round there, defending Kitchen, ended up being a 1v1. The only round on defense that wasn't even remotely close was that Dorms defense, which was very, very convincing, with, I believe, only one player getting taken down on the defensive side. Nonetheless, Warden's going to be picking that Ash, something I wouldn't typically recommend. Dodger's going to be switching onto a Maestro. I love to see it. Maestro and Echo are amazing in combination downstairs, especially when you don't have a mirror. I'd be interested to see what Warden plans to do with this Ash. Last time you could argue that he on the sledge died because he ran out of bullets in his magazine for the SMG-11, so perhaps playing a more frag-oriented operator who has more bullets in the magazine and a fantastic gun to boot could be helping out with that, but, you know, who's to argue too much the specifics? One Maestro is going to get taken down. Dodger just checking what kind of a angle he has using that Maestro. Now let's have a look at what would it look like from playing on these stairs. You see, it's a very narrow angle in order to take out that Maestro, and they will be able to see anyone planting in the default position on top of this laundry, on top of the dryer, or in that piece of barbed wire below. However, if anyone decides to plant at what most people call basket, in this corner, that Maestro will not have any line of sight, and it's going to be mostly up to the Echo in order to deny that. Right after I do all that analysis of that Maestro device, he's going to be moving it anyway. Interesting choices. We'll see what happens in the late game and how that plays out. Tower take is actually going to be what's coming out at the start of this round. We can see a lot of, once again, rotations and utilities spent upstairs for Outlaws, and Kings is wasting no time looking to push down the rear stairs. It looks like at this stage, TBD are attempting to prepare for a rear side push. The smoke downstairs has been spotted out with that Jackal scanner, and the Lion scanner is going to force him to stand still as well. King's now doing a little bit more droning, and oh, this is actually, which player is that? I believe it's Bundy playing very aggressively on these stairs, something that has been allowed to happen due to the fact that this hatch still hasn't been popped, nor has the floor above Bundy's head been broken in order to enable more angles looking down to him. At the very start of this round, it had me convinced that TBD were preparing for a rear stage push. However, so far they haven't made any real progress. Bundy's very safe here playing on the stairs due to the fact that the thermite charge hasn't opened up that hatch. Thermite charge is being used to open up both the meeting hatches. That's all of the hard breach utility available, which means Bundy knows 100% that they're not going to be opening up this hatch. He's now getting more and more aggressive the more confident he is that the push is going to be ignoring him, and no doubt he'll be going for a late flank when the time comes. Warden using this breaching charge utility, no doubt trying to... He's going to pop one Maestro while he's at it. That's going to deny a lot of information gathering utility for the defenders, and also using one to enable him an entrance into the site. He sees the angle! Muesli on the other side. No, that's actually Serum on the other side. Managed to land one bullet into Warden, but it's not enough to deal anything. Warden doesn't manage to find the head in return. Joker, though, with that bearing 9. He's doing so much work so far on these tight angles, but Warden punishes him. A great refrag from the Ash player. Can he find another one? He's getting so close, but no cigar thus far. Serum is toying with these tight angles. Bundy on his flank manages to find one as well. No doubt this execute will be happening very shortly. Warden once again has entered into the site. Is completely Ellid. Is completely flashed, as well as his own flashbangs are going to be disrupting him. Now it's only up to him and Crescent, as the rest of his team has been completely dispatched, with Crescent with 2 headshots with the SMG-12, but he's going to run straight past Serum with the SMG-11, who finds one. Serum even turns around and finds Warden to clean up the round for his team. What was looking very close is now dominant. Outlaws 4 rounds up, 2 rounds away from taking this Pro League spots. They are looking so strong on these defenses. That round, I'm so surprised by how it played out. At the very start, it became clear that TBD were preparing for a rear stage push, and as soon as the thermite charges in Meeting Hall went off, Bundy knew that's exactly what they were going for. He decided to push and go for his flank. He managed to find 1, if not 2 kills on that flank, despite some great entry from Warden and Crescent as well with the Dekaibi. Turning it into that numbers advantage, Crescent got a little bit overzealous running into the site. He got taken down, and that meant that it was up to Warden in a 1 versus 2, and he couldn't make that happen. Another defense win leads us to once again change up sites. Kids Dorm's main hall being the next one in question. This was the most dominant defensive round we've seen thus far in this map. And if it plays out anything like it did last time, we're going to be on Outlaws match points within 3 minutes' time.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Rotations being made into Attic from Joker. With that, once again, Supernova shotgun. Also opening up the hatch. It's a great... so the basic idea here, I'm sure most of you viewers are familiar with this, but need control of Attic as a defender to prevent people from rappelling on these B windows, because rappelling on these B windows is one of the most effective ways of clearing B. Gives you a crossfire with the big window over here on this side. The most effective way of countering this B window's hold is by looking through that window up there, or from in Big Tower, or from running out somewhere else. Now, if you make yourself a rotate into Attic, it forces the attackers to gain control of Attic if they want to go for a B windows push. However, we haven't seen any of these teams try and push that so far. It's been mostly Armory Master side pushes, and, well, we've only had 1 round of that, and it was an absolute... it was not great. Warden, though, is going to be opening up this wall from Generator into the master bedroom closet, not only giving him lines of sight, but also enabling him to pass through it in order to plant should the late round necessitate that. Kings, though, he's pushing through tower alongside wings. It looks like potentially they're... Oh! This is looking a bit rough. Kings might actually get caught off guard. He comes around the corner sprinting, but still manages to find the head of Serum. Serum managed to deal a lot of damage onto him, but did so much. Warden takes down Muesli. Muesli has been a fantastic fragger in this game so far. 4 for his team. Serum as well, topping 8. That's a very impressive score so far in only 4 rounds of this game. Warden might be about to find another. I think that's Dodger inside of the kitchen. Warden's no doubt going to find this kill. He does. Headshot onto the Jaeger. Takes him down, and this is looking to be a complete turnaround. This was a very dominant defensive win earlier, and, well, I'm just going to say it right up. If TBD win this round, that is going to send a message to Outlaws. And yes, while they're going to be 3 rounds down coming into the second half of this matchup, it's entirely possible, and I would argue probable, that they're going to win the next one. Bundy, he wants to aggressively peek this. He hears that Warden's jumped on the drone, but as soon as Warden spots him out, Warden's going to aggressively peek this angle. Bundy wants to find this. Is Bundy going to go for a run out? Warden jumps down. Bundy needs to not remain detected. Managed to get out of there just in time. It's only Joker and Bunny in order to save this, and now with the Lion Charge also forcing Bundy into the corner. This is not looking great. So many angles being opened up onto poor Bundy here with only a sliver of HP. Wings even cleans him up. It's all up to Joker, the last remaining player from Outlaws. He's been doing so much so far. He starts it off with 2 quick kills. 2 more he has to find in order to turn this into a 5th round in a row for defense. 1 versus 2 situation. The attackers have so much time to deal with, but Joker has been doing so much with this bearing 9. 1 player at East Stairs, 1 player looking to push in through Gen. Crescent has droned this out. He knows what's happening. Joker has his own drone, but he needs to not remain on it for too long. Looks like a plant is going to be happening shortly, and Joker is not in a position to deny it. Warden is just holding this rotate. Joker has to find this kill and then find the second one. Can he find the first? He's not even managed to... A potato from both parties, but no, Joker finally gets it. 1 versus 1. Can Joker, he's on 1 HP, make this happen? Crescent has a lesion mine in his leg. He's going to pull out. Joker has used this to push through, walks through the barbed wire. That's an audio cue for him. Crescent just has to land 1 bullet, and it's a headshot, taking down Joker, securing 1 round on the board for TBD. That's just what they needed. 1 round out of the 5 attack rounds that they had to play in a row. It was such an uphill battle, but finally the 5th one, managing to take it home, and now it's their turn to show what they have on the defense. Whew, right off the bat, Dodgers got to pick the blitz. Why you got to do that, mate? No one likes it. No one wants you to do that. Nonetheless, it's happening unless it's going to be a 6th pick bait. So Dodger picks out that blitz and then switches on to something else. But due to the fact that he picked it so early on during the pick phase, I think it is a legitimate pick. Interesting picks overall, actually. Thermite, Ash, Blitz, Thatcher, Ying. So Thermite, fairly self-explanatory. The Blitz means you're planning on getting very aggressive, particularly on your roam clear. The Ying also assisting with that, but no, that was just a bait. You could see Bundy switched onto it at the last moments, and now he's going to be switching onto the actual operator he wanted to play, which was Jackal. So lots of roam clear potential here. Blitz and Jackal in conjunction. Jackal forcing players to move, and Blitz really giving them a run for their money when they do. That's just going to help out with clearing out any of the defender utility, including the Maestro devices, which are so very useful at denying those thermite charges in many different places. And Joker playing the Ash, well, I did rip on Warden for playing Ash earlier, but look, he's been fragging on it. If you can frag on an operator that brings a bit more utility to the table, a Sophia, for example, then great. But if you need that Ash and you make it work, then go for it. And Joker really has been stepping up in this match. 9 kills. He's the top fragger in this game so far, particularly with the 3 that he got last round. Yes, you could say in a 1 versus 4 clutch, if you don't manage to win the clutch, it doesn't matter how many kills you got. I think that's a valid argument, but still, you've got to say how impressive it was that Joker's been able to land the shots that he has against players of such a high caliber as it is that we have on TBD. Initial roam clear seeming to come out from both the west and the south side. This is the way I think it's most typical and typically most effective to clear the map of Oregon. So whether it's top or bottom, I typically like to do both. Wow, Bundy getting taken down so early by Shade at top of white stairs. No, that's the top of the main stairs. And he's just using his Valkyrie cameras for information and then peeking when he wishes. Kings as well, who's playing inside of the kitchen. He's using his C4 to try and... How did he manage to... So unfortunate. That was directed at the Blitz, but Joker on the Ash, who was playing behind him, managed to get taken down. Dodger now still up, still with that P12 and the shield. He wants to find, no doubt, Kings. And he's got what he needs to make it happen. If he comes around this next corner, there's almost no way that Kings is getting out of this alive. Yep, P12 hipfire is all you need. What was that? That was just a few bullets out of the magazine, and one of those hipfire managed to be a headshot. Welcome to Blitz, ladies and gentlemen. A reset as well is going to come out. Serum helping out a brother who needs a bit of HP back on the board. Nonetheless, this is definitely a strong roam. Even if that's the end of the roam for TBD, that's good. Managed to get 2 kills, take out the Ash, take out the Jackal. Yes, they were both low utility operators. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Jackal is a high utility operator. He's got the smokes. Taking them out is a worthy trade for that Mute. Now that the hatch is still yet to be broken, we've got so many players from TBD getting very aggressive underneath it. Right when I say that, the hatch does get blown, and as we can see, the players from TBD retreat back. Interesting, in a situation like we have for Outlaws at the moment, where you have still 1 roamer inside a big tower and you have only 2 real operators with rifles, the last one being a blitz. How do you deal with this? So Crescent has now gone back to site. You could say, oh great, well that means that Outlaws don't have to deal with the roamers anymore, but I would say actually it means that they have to deal with so much more on site, especially at a numbers disadvantage, and on top of that, one of their number has only a pistol. And yes, it's a shield and blitz can be a fantastic fragger, but it really isn't the same. Look, 2 remote gas grenades, there's no way that Muesli gets out of this alive. He gets suffocated fairly quickly and fairly easily. There's not much that Serum could do now. He's going for the plant. Dodger actually managed to find one with the blitz. He drops down, but the plant gets denied by the Echo with that MP5 SD just over the 0-second timer. Great job from the Echo player, that is Wings, to deny that plant, win the round. And we're getting further and further away from this looking like a match point happening for the Outlaws players. I think this really just reflects the fact that at the moment, with this particular ban setup that we have, with no Glaz, no Hibana, this is just defender-sided. Despite the fact that Mirror has been banned as well, the attackers just can't manage to get many successful attacks. Even when there was one successful attack, the final round of the first half, with TBD taking that Dorm's defense, Dorm's attack, it went down to a 1 versus 1 even then. 6th pick coming out. Let's see who's going to mix things up. Nope, everyone seems to be locking in what they're wanting to pick. I do know Serum to be a bit of a Twitch player. He'd be the one I would say would be a worthy trade out now, especially since there's no Mirror on the defensive side. That Twitch not being as nearly great in value. Yes, you can take out the Legion Mines. Yes, you can take out the ADSs and the Bandit batteries, but there are other ways to do that. I would much rather a Thatcher. Now, where we saw Outlaws playing an Echo with a shotgun on this defense, we have TBD deciding that Smoke with the M590A1 is the best way to handle it in their preference. A lot of holes being opened up through the floor by Shade. It's going to allow a little bit of vertical play being used in the defender's favor. Anyone who attempts to use vertical play against the defenders by going below and perhaps using a buck or a, Zafir Ash, none of which we actually have in the attacking lineup, well, they're going to get a bit of a run for their money as Shade's prepped some holes to use. This pre-fire spot, I love it. Everyone loves, when you're just randomly tapping away at that wall and you get taken down, you take someone down through the wall. Everyone loves that. No one likes being on the receiving end of it. I'm not quite sure that this blitz is actually the right idea. Blitz is a mixed bag. I've seen it be very successful, especially, for example, pushing up white stairs on sites like this. However, you need to couple that with a Thatcher or an IQ so that you know where all of the Legion mines are, because in my eyes, that Legion is the single most effective counter to Blitz. Castle's another not bad one, actually. Wow, so we have an East Windows repel, a B Windows repel. However, just as I pointed out earlier in this game, there's one very nice counter to that B Windows repel, and that's someone sitting inside of the attic. And due to the fact that Outlaws didn't choose to even try and clear that, didn't even have someone pointing their gun towards it, Wings gets a free kill onto Serum, and that was a very critical mistake that Outlaws did not want to make. Warden gets a run out and gets 2. It's not looking great at all. Dodger manages to refrag that. Pardon me, trying to switch these operators so fast. Warden managed to get refragged, but it was by a blitz with a pistol. I mean, both of the players the defenders who have managed to get kills on attackers outside in Warden and Wings. Dodger was the only one there to try and get a refrag, and he's got a pistol. What do you expect he's going to do? Pre-firing through the wall with the pistol, you're just wasting bullets at this point. Still hasn't successfully reloaded that. Got to be wary of that reload bug still in the game. It does require you to spend a little bit of extra time after your reload, and this is just so dangerous right now. Aiming down sights and pre-firing, this is the job of a rifle, not a pistol. You're not doing what Blitz was intended for, but of course, your 3 of your players have died already. What are you going to do anyway? Muesli and Dodger now deciding, alright, we have to reevaluate. We're not going to go for a big window push. We're going to try and push through the master balcony, in through master, and maybe through gen as well. They still have the thermite to open the wall, so that's all nice. Muesli managing to get one as well onto Wings. It's a good start. He's picking very aggressively, however, and I don't believe that they've got this wall open. No, but it's banded, which means that they have no choice but to file through the same door. Dodger's going to be scouting for Muesli though, and well, there's nothing else to bait out that ADS. Muesli's going to push all the way in. He's got an ACOG. He does not have the best weapon to make this work, but he managed to find one anyway. However, Crescent and Kings each find 1 kill to turn out this one and make it even more convincingly in favor of the defenders. I think it's kind of ironic the way that, well, for so long during Operation Chimera with the release of Finker and Lion, particularly Lion, and also the changes to operators such as Blitz, giving them buffs, and Glaz, of course, it was such a attacker-sided meta, and so many people were critical of this. And now look right here, we've got Oregon, where there's only been 1 round of attack win in the entire matchup. Finally, Bundy is picking that IQ, but at the same time, we've lost the Blitz. So the key reason where I think that there should have been a counter to those Legion Mines is now gone. IQ and Thatcher will be able to counter those Legion Mines and that Maestro as well, but the Blitz is not available for them to use. A very dry lineup, I would say, with no smoke coverage at all available to Outlaws. However, what they do have is a lot of flash and distraction. So, for example, those Zephyr charges and those Glaz Ying Candelas, not Glaz, pardon me. Ying Candelas are going to be some serious disruption to any of the defender players and enable them before they execute. Blackbeard also fantastic, always, particularly when you're going for very dry pushes without smoke, as Blackbeard excels on peeking dry angles. However, they've got a lot of utility to deal with on the defensive side. The Jaeger being pushed is going to mean that those Candelas are going to be very valuable, and it's going to be important to clear out those ADSs before throwing those Candelas. Additionally, these mute jammers are going to deny a lot of intel, while both the Echo... What? You're muting it from this side? Kings? Are you going to mute that from both sides? That's bizarre. Who mutes... No, he's not even... Alright. Who mutes it from this side? Because if you're thermiting, you're going to enter here, you're going to thermite that, and you can shoot the mute jammer right there. Of course, if you put it on this side, then you can shoot it from this door, which is why often we see a castle being picked to cover that door. But nonetheless, I mean, if you're going to put a mute jammer there, just... You may as well not have a mute jammer there. It doesn't delay any time. Seems a bit silly to me. Anyway, a lot of intel gathering utility on the defenders as well as the intel denial. This Echo Maestro combo and potentially, let's have a look. Nope, a C4 on Kings instead of the bulletproof camera. That's a little bit less intel gathering, but the signal disruptors themselves are going to be a lot of intel denier. Let's have a look and see what Outlaws are going to be doing to execute this push. Looking pretty default so far. Strange that they would... I think that was a Maestro device that Bundy just took out on that wall underneath the camera. Showers being opened up means it's very hard to take control of that area, but Dodger is going to be doing it nonetheless, pushing straight on through here. He's going to be holding this angle. 2 shots into Warden is enough to clean him up. Taking out the barbed wire as well. He's going to continue contesting this angle. He's going to see Maestro. That LMG is a fantastic weapon, but you're going up against a Blackbeard with a face shield and the SR-25. Even with that weapon, which I would say is the best weapon on defense, I wouldn't want to be contesting this angle. Bundy has spotted out that there is a player inside the kitchen. Actually, that's inside dining, prone beneath the tables. Bundy's just suppressive fire at this point. Serum has called out where that player is. A concussion grenade is going to confirm once again that there is a player there. The Yin Candelas are going to completely molest the poor player playing there, but Shade is covering it. However, he gets completely flashed by that Yin Candela posthumously. Muesli is going to take down Crescent, leaving it now in a 1 versus 4 situation for Shade. He gets one with the LMG. This Alda is doing some serious work, but he's got to do a lot more and step it up in order to take this win. He's going to see another one, but Muesli finds him first, and that is an attack win, ladies and gentlemen. The second for this entire map. Attackers, well, they haven't been too favored today, but looking pretty good. As we head on to match points, all that's required is one more attack win, and Outlaws are going to take this, and hence this spot in the Pro League for Season 8 in the ANZ region. Players Warden, Wings, Shade, these guys all played in the Pro League last season, and they want to play in it again. Kings, he played at the Six Invitational under his top ANZ team, Fnatic, then known as Mind Freak. Crescent, he earned his spot in the Pro League by fighting through relegations on Team Verdict, only to lose his spot as Team Verdict had to disband. These players, they want that spot in Pro League. None of them can imagine playing a season of Rainbow Six without being in it. And yet here they are facing match point, staring down the barrel of being forced to win another defense win.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
The numbers are in their favor. They've won this round before. They can win it again. But, well, there's a point where the mentality's got to get to you. The stress. And, well, if Outlaws can win that round, then what's to say they can't win this one as well? Once again, Dodger is going to be bringing that blitz, something that I did not think worked for them earlier. And, well, they only won an attack round after they finally got rid of him in favor of a Blackbeard, who seemed to do quite a lot of work. Nonetheless, they're bringing the blitz again. Blitz, Lion, Jackal, whoever wants to face that.
10 seconds remaining.
There are some words I'd like to use to describe that, but I've decided I'm going to keep this stream PG.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. Attackers must locate.
Decent amount of intel gathering from the attackers, you know, Echo and Valkyrie, but let's be honest, these days, there's so much intel gathering utility on the defending side that this isn't even abnormal. I would have liked to see a Maestro potentially being brought by the defenders, but nonetheless, that won't be the case. 4 players from Outlaws are going a very slow and steady roam clear from the small tower and onwards. I much prefer to have someone at big window as well, so you can cut off this Dorm's rotation, but fortunately for Outlaws, there is actually no one playing the roam game on the entire map. All 5 rather, players are down here in the basement. Wings, Kings, Warden, Shade, and Crescent. This is actually, in my eyes, going to benefit Outlaws. The real question is, can TBD absolutely nail these... Look, wow, these guys are spending a lot of time face-checking this. There's not even a vigil. It's not like you have to face-check everything. Drone, guys. Look at how slow they are. They're being so slow and methodical. I mean, yes, I acknowledge that on the spectator camera I can see through walls and see that there's no roamers, but these guys are taking their sweet time of it. It's been a minute 30, and they aren't already opening up lobby hatch and prepping. This hatch needs to be open already, and so does this hatch right now. That hatch you can open for free because it's unreinforced. You get your Jackal to do that, but only just now are they doing that. Now, this is just poor time management. They know that they're on match point. They know that they're so close to getting the win. And now they finally realize, after all that, the hatch is jammed. They don't have a Thatcher. Crescent now playing aggressively at the bottom of these stairs. He's in such a strong position. He's got, over the course of the 2 minutes that have expired in this round, he's been able to continue to place Legion Mines, regenerate Legion Mines, and now he's going to peek. 50 seconds, this hatch isn't open. This is a disaster for Outlaws. You need to bring that Thatcher. If that Twitch drone hasn't done its job, then it wasn't even worth bringing. you're not going to get to use all this utility because this is just a disaster at the moment for Outlaws. Dodger has to find this shot onto the mute jammer, but now C4s are coming. No, the smoke grenades. There's just no time. You see all 5 players, and they finally managed to take down that jammer. But 20 seconds, it's going to have to be an absolute blitzkrieg of a rush. There's 1 player on the flank. Dodger is here, looking to find it. He's going to find the kill, no doubt, but we have to see what's happening in the plant execute. Warden gets taken down. That's a smoke off the board. Only 2 defenders left. Joker is trying to plant in the smoke. He's going to manage to get this successfully, but the real question is, can Wings deny the plant? The plant gets denied. Defenders win the round, and TBD will stay in it for just a moment longer. Round number 10. 4-5. Are we going to see overtime? Outlaws have 1 chance to win an attack rounds and turn this into a win for them. This isn't just a win for 1 map. This isn't just a win for the series. This is their spot back in Pro League. Outlaws lost that spot in Pro League. They played through last season. Siron was the only one on this current roster who was core at the time, and he grasped to that Pro League spot with everything that he had, but he lost the relegations match to Team Verdict. Now Verdict are out of the picture. Outlaws, Serum in particular, he's rebuilt this team of Outlaws. We've got new faces, Joker and Muesli. Old faces who are returning, Dodger and Bundy. Dodger obviously formerly known as Caliber. He played for Surge at the height of their prime. These players are all, they want this, and the way that they see it, they're not trying to earn their spot in Pro League for the first time. They're trying to reclaim it. Even though there are fresh faces, this Outlaws, the name, it's been around for a while.
Attackers need to locate
And they just want it to stay. Now they're going to have to win an upstairs attack onto the kids' dorms, or else it's going to be overtime. And the coin flip could decide who wins this. Of course, overtime is going to be a best of 3. Which means you only have to win 2 rounds, and then you win. Whoever starts on which side is decided by the coin flip. Which means that, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it'd be so unfortunate. We've seen such a defender-sided match so far, and if one team managed to get defense on the coin flip at overtime, and that team managed to win the 2 rounds, then how much does that really say about who deserves the win? If Outlaws want to get this done right here before it escalates, they need to win this round. And they need to win it right now. Dodger once again bringing this blitz. I think that the only attack round you've won was Blackbeard. Yes, it was the only attack round as well when you attacked onto Kitchen. But I think that there's a little bit more correlation there that you're missing. Saram bringing that buck is going to be able to do a lot of work looking up through these unreinforced shower walls, denying that position at the top of White Stairs. Anyone who peeks that is likely to meet their demise. However, there's still a lot more work to be done for the attackers. Bundy potentially looking to do some vertical play of his own. No, Sirom is the one who's playing now underneath the kids' dorms, trying to find holes opening up through the floor with this skeleton key. Trying to locate any players up inside of that area. Warden, he himself is up inside there, trying to use the holes to his advantage. Crescent as well, flushed out now of his position. He's wary now of the position at the bottom of White Stairs, and there's still someone holding the angle. Should he peek that angle? And very shortly there's going to be a blitz moving headlong up that White Stairs, and that's not a sight you want to be dealing with. 5 on 5, but only one player on the objective. No, 2 players, sorry. Warden's still inside of kids. Wings, Shade, on the roam. Where's our final roamer? I'm not quite sure. Joker now prepping. He's going to be going to big window. It's more than likely. Dodger as well, setting himself up. Top of White Stairs is such a strong position. He's just relying on this hipfire accuracy. I mean, he's got 60 bullets to deal it with. Why not play the RNG game? Because if you don't play it here, well, then you're going to be playing it on the coin flip for overtime. Warden has actually dropped downstairs, which means that there's only one player on the site. As I say that, Shade comes to assist. His smoke grenade is going to be helping out. Warden gets instantly refragged after he takes down Bundy. The Jackal off the board, but Dodger is now at a standstill as he can't do much pushing into the site. Shade managed to steal his way into the site. Joker wasn't doing his job of watching that rotation, and this means that all the ground that was taken has now been lost. Shade can use all of his utility to the fullest. Now as we see, Serum is going to be jumping inside. Joker finds Shade. This could be the round to end it, but Wings says he's got something to say about it. He's taken one down, but now he's facing a Blitz. The C4 is going to be trying to do what he can. The Blitz is only on a few points of HP. He only has to shoot him in the leg once or twice. That's once. Can there be a twice? Only no bullets left in the magazine. He gets taken down. It's all up to Kings as Dodger finishes Wings off with a swift melee. Only a few bullets to take down Dodger. One bullet as he is only on a sliver of HP. This is for the round right now. Kings detected by the EE1D. The floor bang. Outlaws take the round. It's a GG. Fantastic end to this best of 3 series before we hit overtime. Outlaws, fantastic job. Congratulations for your spot in the Season 8 of the ANZ Pro League. You have deserved to bring it back. I'm sure that all of these players are very proud of their matches. So unfortunate for Warden. He lost his spot in Pro League within 48 hours ago when he lost his spot on the ViewSonic Dark-Sided roster. And he still, despite dropping 10 kills in the final map, did not manage to retain that. Fantastic end to what has been an incredibly exciting night. And I can't believe it is already over. And, well, it did take quite some time. It's now 12:40 a.m. and I should definitely be sleeping. But I would like to lastly say a massive congratulations to Outlaws and a solid effort to TBD for forming within 48 hours and getting so very close to earning a Pro League spot right off the bat of it. Thank you massively to everyone who is watching. As I look at the stream right now, we're almost at 150 viewers for 1 a.m. Australian Standard Time on a Wednesday night. That is absolutely fantastic. Thursday morning, should I say. All you nasty people have to go and get up for work tomorrow morning, so go and enjoy that. And yeah, I really appreciate all the support in the chat. And lastly, I'd just like to say, if you like what you've seen here on the R6ANZ Twitch channel, head over to Twitter and give R6ANZ a follow. Join the Discord. I'm sure Nightbot will be spamming the Discord link in the chat at some point. Become part of our community. Get to play with players like you've seen today. Get to experience more matches with casters like myself, like Elastic, like Kazza, these guys. Massive thank you to you guys for casting the matches earlier tonight. And that's all from me. I'd like to wish you guys all a very good night. And lastly, congratulations once again to Outlaws.